to Knucklehead Comics Tuesday. It's fucking Tuesday. We got Lay in the building. We got Cap in the building. Cabs can't make it tonight, but he's here in spirit. On Lay.
My man, just chilling, brother, chilling.
What's up, Cap? How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Is that? And the father goes shamefully, that's my son. And the other guy goes shamefully, Orion goes, that's my father. Choose fear and hate to run your life. Something you can't do. That was wrong with me from the beginning. I was doing it that way. I was gonna go down that path. I worried.
You thought it was Grayson?
Sorry, got hurt. It's like not him. Not him.
Crack his brain for somebody, anybody that can help, and remembers. Freeze.
The media.
No,
Randall Savage. With his knowledge and all other shit, and his capacity to learn.
Absolutely.
This is the only vegan I'll ever eat is grilled chicken wings, because that's like vegan to me. You know what I'm saying? Because the chicken wings are supposed to be fried, but you grill the chicken wings, and you put it in some sauce, and give it some blue cheese.
Is vegan.
That's vegan. Like regular moo cow fuck milk. Put it in some Honey Nut Cheerios. Vegan, because Honey Nut Cheerios good for your heart. You know what I'm saying? And I steal the question from Cabs.
I got it right.
I would also like to steal. I would also like to steal. I would also like to steal.
You're too late.
Wow.
I stay loose, I stay hype, I stay loose, I stay hype, I stay loose, I stay hype. I could do this all night, cause I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go! Yeah! Let's go! Here I go, I get lit, I get hyped for this shit! Right.
Word. He be like, I got a left elbow and a right elbow. I can break your face with an any elbow. Make sure that you get elbowed in your elbow with an elbow. Got the arm ball, get the phone ball, get around with the bomb with the bomb ball.
Daddy's gonna take you to Jersey Shore.
Yo, it's Tuesday night. What's going on, everybody? We got Cap in the building. We got toe tags in the building. What's going on? What's going on, Cap? How you doing, man?
I am okay. One of my fandoms has been set on fire. Yeah, I mean, I'm not part of any fandom, but one of the things I like, the fandom has been set on fire. So I'm vigorously watching with bated breath on how that turns out.
And we're talking about the D&D.
Yep.
You can't have nothing nice in this world.
Apparently not, man. It's the whole fucking thing is crazy.
Word is, you make something fun for people, and then you realize that you start having fun with it, and now we gotta charge you because it ain't fun unless the homies get some money. But other than that, how's everything else going with you?
Good to go. Same old, same old.
I hear that, man. Yo, the second trailer is the second trailer.
Second trailer. Yep.
The second trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania dropped. I haven't seen it yet, but I know you've seen it. What's it like? You said it made you more hyped to see it. What's going on with that?
Yeah. This made the movie feel like, regardless of how small and personal the movie is, this made it feel like an epic fucking, you can't miss this. Everything's gonna hinge on what this movie does and what happens in this movie. That's what the trailer made it seem like.
Okay. So this is gonna be the start of what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. I honestly hope so.
Nice. That's what I've been hoping. pie in the sky. This is what everything is all about right here. No more games, no more bullshit. We getting right into the nitty and the gritty of it.
Yeah, and it has one of the best lines.
What was
I don't want to say nothing because I know you don't like getting spoiled.
I mean, at this point, it's one of those things like fuck it.
Nah, because this might be an actual massive spoiler for you specifically,
All right,
even
hold
though
up.
they put it in the trailer.
All right, hold up.
I can't hear anything you say. So I can go?
All right, so I'm gonna show you. I couldn't hear you, but I muted the. So I'm gonna mute this. I shouldn't be able to hear you. I'm gonna do this, and then you can say the line.
All right. So towards the end of the trailer, Ant-Man just looks up at Kang. It's like, I don't have to beat you. Both of us have to lose. It's like, well, that explains a whole hell of a lot in one sentence.
All right, there you go.
Now, what's funny is you're gonna go back and watch this and hear me say it anyway.
I'll skip over it. Shit, but yeah. So I had a feeling with the first trailer that I was forced to watch when we was watching Wakanda Forever that this looked like this was a big deal. This was this wasn't no palate cleansing movie. This wasn't no let's make a movie to be funny or something. Like this was gonna be the start of something.
Yeah. And they actually showed, so there was worry about a specific character, which I won't name for spoiler reasons.
Okay.
They was worried about the design of a specific character, and then this trailer showed one version clearly, and another version of him was in the background of one scene, and I don't think all that worry was necessary because it seems to be perfectly fucking fine. And I know I'm
Okay.
being vague right now, which is not good for a
Yeah.
fucking podcast, but go watch the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you like Toad, don't watch the trailer and wait for the movie to come out and be completely shocked.
Yeah. So, do you have a question of the day? Or you want to just jump right into Kang?
I do not have a question of the day. So and right now it's dealer's choice, whatever you want to do. Plus, I just want to put side note, hopefully, because I know what happened last time. It was just the two of us. Hopefully, there ain't no arguments this time.
Word. Well, just don't talk about James Gunn and the DC universe, and we'll be alright. But let's see. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just get into it now. Kang the Conqueror. I'm pretty sure his story is in the MCU is different from the story in the comics, but
Yeah, most definitely.
yeah. But let's get to his story in the comics, and then we can talk about what we know so far in the MCU and some pie in the sky theories.
All right, so just a brief rundown of his history. He is Nathaniel Richards. He is a descendant of Reed Richards, the Fantastic Four. In his time, in like the 31st century, I want to say, somewhere around there, he was obsessed with time and obsessed with history. And he took Victor Von Doom's time travel machine, changed it to his own shit, went back in time, became a pharaoh in Egypt, then did a whole bunch of other time hopping shenanigans, came back to his time. One of the kingdoms he was in charge of, there was, I can't remember her. I think her name is Ren. It was one of the princesses from one of the kingdoms that he was, taking over. Tried to court her. She didn't like him at first. He took the fucking Avengers And it's like, look, I brought you the Avengers. That didn't work. They tried to escape. He finally beat him into submission. They start liking each other. The Avengers escape. They they defeated him. His own people tried to overthrow him. They took Ren. I was like, yo, you want to be back in charge? Kill her. He couldn't do it. They went to kill him. She jumped in the way, got a mortal wound. And then he put her in some sort of time displacement where it's kind of like Victor Freeze's wife.
Yeah.
She's suspended in animation outside of time until he can find a way to heal her. And I think it's something like that. Or no, he's trying to find a way to reverse what happened. So he literally keeps jumping back in time to prevent everything that led up to that event. But every time he jumps back in time, the Avengers stop him because as powerful as Kang is, without his tech, he's just a fucking man. Like he himself is not all powerful. So there are times where they stop him and he's just like, "Oh, I guess I'm just chilling in jail until I can figure my way out of this bitch."
So he's like Booster Gold, but with an agenda.
Oh, but he's way more serious and way more. Oh fuck, we got to deal with this dude than Booster Gold will ever be.
Okay.
So fun fact about him. You ever heard of the Mandela effect?
No.
All right, so the Mandela effect is an effect that was coined. So it's an effect where you believe that something is true that has never been true. And it was coined by the fact that everybody thought Nelson Mandela died in the 90s, even though he was alive and well. But a majority of the people remember seeing the news report, remember reading about it, remember the funeral, but it never happened. Like the Berenstein Bears are actually the Berenstein Bears, and they were never the Berenstein Bears, but people have false memories, if you will.
Yeah.
That happened somewhat with Kang, where a lot of people believe that he's actually related to Tony Stark, only because a lot of the time when he shows up, he has either corrupted or taken future Stark tech and brought it back and is using Stark tech in order to fuck up the Avengers. So that has mistakenly led people to believe that he and Tony Stark are linked, when in fact, like I mentioned before, he's actually part of the Fantastic Four family lineage.
Okay. And now, all right. So that's the comic. In the comics, what major things has he done? Like,
Well,
is
they
he a
are. So they
Omega
have,
level? Is he a Omega level threat like
yeah,
Thanos
yeah,
was? Or
yeah. He's had his own shit where he's killed all the Avengers. He's destroyed a whole bunch of shit, took over a whole bunch of worlds. He's actually got a, I forget what they call it, but there's a council of Kangs. Almost every version of him exists, and they get together and they have a council and they go over shit and set out fucking. It's a whole weird thing with him. He's actually been Iron Lad. So if you look at the Young Avengers, I think Lay brought this up either last week or the week before, where he essentially just became like, oh well, fuck it, I'm a young Tony Stark type kid, made an Iron Man suit, and he was Iron Lad. But it was him as he was younger who saw what his future self would be and was like, I don't kind of like that, so I'm gonna try to stop it from here. But it always comes back to him. It's like Doom. No matter what Doom does, it always goes back to him being the villain.
okay, so I'm trying to. shit, my bad. But yeah, so in the movie so far, we got him running the TVA. Did he run anything like that in the comics? Or
Well, in the comics, the TVA I think was something different. Where I don't believe it was Kang himself running it. I think it was something else. But he's run Chronopolis, which is the city that's within the quantum realm, and it's kind of like So you remember in Loki and what, like the 7th or 8th episode when they went into that place where they were like, "Oh, everybody's dying." It's like, no, you just when they hit you, you just get sent to this place that dumped all that
yeah,
shit up there.
yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's a whole city that he's built, but it has pieces of history and shit from throughout the ages that he himself collected and conquered and shit like that.
Okay. And besides that, is there any other significance for him in there? Does he hide out there? Or is he?
I mean, he's the ruler of it. That's pretty much it. I mean, he's in the comics. He's just a standard villain. Like every villain on that level has a place they run, an army that they can bring in every once in a while, tech that makes them more powerful, control over timelines and different variants of shit. Like,
All right. So, is that gonna be the case in the quantum realm, or is that gonna be like his jail cell?
well, from all indications, the city is Chronopolis, the city that we see in the trailer, and both the first one and this one. And it doesn't seem like if it is. So I surmise that it probably is a prison, and he was trapped in there and trying to escape and all that shit. But it's weird because they might keep him there, but he might have just took lemons and made lemonade, and now he's running this whole fucking city within the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And with access to TVA, he's got access to if the TVA is in the quantum realm, which we don't know if it is or not. We don't know. We don't know when this. I mean, because time's a weird fucking. To coin a phrase from somebody else, time is a weird soup in the MCU right now, and Kang can literally just go anywhere in time for any point. So with the TVA running around and having access to technology from all ages, if he does run it, you know, at the end of Loki, we do see a statue of him, so he might be running it then. He was the one at the end of the rainbow in the first season. Who knows what he has, what he was able to amass, what was stolen from him, if anything was. Like this can truly be. Now, I don't want to say multiverse madness shit, because I don't think like we're gonna get his 15 versions of Deadpool and here's another fucking. But this has the potential to have the madness that Doctor Strange should have had. I think everything that we wanted to see out of Doctor Strange, not specific like characters and shit popping up, but the feeling we wanted from it and the places that story could have went to, I think we're gonna get in this movie. That's why I'm a little more hyped for this one than all the other ones that showed up so far.
It would have been awesome that if they would have took that multiverse of madness and just had some remnants of Kang or something that happened in Loki with the timelines getting fucked up and all that. Instead of for them just saying, what what's the word? Incursions. Like all they did was mention incursions. Like no one knew about that before, but now all of a sudden everybody knows about them, and they didn't explain how they know about it if there was only one timeline.
Well, so they did explain it, but they didn't explain it in like a 15-minute exposition dump. They just went, here's what it is. Ta-da. I mean, like I said, they didn't go, and that we've hammered that movie enough. It didn't go far enough. It didn't go anywhere near where it should have been. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania should go exactly where we think should go, and it should go exactly where it needs to go to tell the story effectively. Otherwise, it might just fall flat on its face.
I'm hearing Apollo run.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you get for getting a fucking horse.
Yeah. So what do you think Kang's purpose is in this one? Because they're not making mention to his wife or him trying to look for a cure for somebody. It's just he's trying to rule the multiverse.
Well, I'm trying to think if they said it. No, they said it in the first one. Something he's looking for something. Something he had that apparently is very what do you call it? Something he had that he needs very much, that is very useful to him, was taken, and now he's trying to find it. As to what ends that is, who knows? It could be a way to get out. It could be a way to bring or to prevent something else from happening. I don't think they're gonna go the whole Ren's love thing, because I mean, it doesn't kind of make sense. We saw her in, or at least a version of her in Loki, and she kind of went along with the whole thing, but I didn't get the vibe that this specific version of Kang is the one that she was attached to. So, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen? They're not alluding to anything right now.
Okay, so do you think that this movie's gonna start at the end of Loki season 1?
No. No, this movie's I think the first part of this movie is gonna be pure Ant-Man 3. And then we get sucked into Quantumania. Because by all accounts, and again, this is not really a spoiler, if you just look at the trailer, it looks like my man Scott Lang is like, I'm the big motherfucker around here. I would one punch stop Thanos. And he's gonna learn very quickly that, oh no, he was just the guy with the van. Like, he didn't do shit.
I mean, not yet, but it could be, like it could be a thing where that Kang was hiding out in the quantum realm during the multiversal war, and he couldn't get out because something happened. And when he found out that he found Peter Lang coming in and out of the shit, that's when he needs him to come out. You know?
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to talk, because there's things that are said in the trailer that might shed some light. So this is kind of weird trying to
Just
keep it
say it.
vague.
Just say it. I'm not the only one that like. Just say it. We're talking about it. Just say it.
All right, so in the trailer, he tells them, Scott Lang, I can give you the one thing you need, time. And he strikes up a deal, seemingly strikes up a deal. You do this for me, I will give you back the time you've missed, being stuck in a quantum realm, missing Cassie growing up, that whole 5-year jump, and all this other shit. You can make up for all the time that you missed when she was a kid and you were in jail and doing stupid shit. So it seems like, again, Kang needs something very specific. And if he has all this information about who people are, and he knows this guy, who do you have in front of you right now? You have a master fucking thief.
Yeah.
Go get me the shit I need. And What do I have? I have the access to all of time. I'll give you what you want. You give me what I want.
Okay, and what do you think? Um, shit, the mother stands in all this, because I know
Oh, Mankind?
we had the theory that she was married to him, or she was somebody important in that city.
Yeah, I don't think she was. I don't think she was married to Kang, because that I don't see why the fuck Janet Van Dyne would be. That just seems stupid. But I do believe she's the reason he's missing whatever it is he's telling Scott to go. Excuse me. He's telling Scott to go look for. Because I mean, what makes more sense? He's a jilted lover and like, oh, this bitch is back in town, or hey, you stole something from me. I need it back. And if you don't, I'm gonna ruin everybody you ever fucking know. Because it also looks like we have two camps where Scott is like, fuck it. This guy said he can give me what I want. All I gotta do is get this. No problem. And Janet is like, no, this motherfucker's bad. We don't trust him. You shouldn't trust him. We shouldn't even be here. Type deal.
All right, so he's definitely. So I know there's been talk that this isn't the Kang that's gonna be in that Avengers movie. You think there's gonna be that Council of Kangs in this one, or
They might not be the Council of Kangs in this one, but they might allude to multiple versions of Kang. And then Kang Dynasty, they could put the Council of Kangs, they could just put a different Kang. Because as of right now, we know He Who Remains is one version. We know that there's a statue placed to a Kang in the TVA now. We're not sure who that is, so that's at least two. And then we know this Kang is in Quantumania. So judging off of that, there's at least three Kangs running around. And if you want to get super meta and super out there was a reference in Moon Knight. One of the kids was wearing a jacket that had his Kang as the Pharaoh on the back. I mean, that's probably just an Easter egg and has no bearing on anything. But if you want to do a deep dive and pie in the sky and throw shit around, there's number 4.
so which one was the baddest one? The Pharaoh?
They all. That's the thing with Kang. Like all of them had their own. The only one who wasn't super badass was Iron Lad, only because he was a good guy. He was trying to be. And little Easter egg. This dude, who's one of his personas, who he got stuck. So they split Kang. All of his personalities split. I think that's where they got, or all of his personas split. That's where they got the Council of Kangs. And this dude got stuck in our timeline and just said, "Fuck it. I know a whole bunch of other shit that nobody else knows. I'm gonna become rich. I'm gonna buy Central Square. Not Central Square. The fuck, Central Park. But there's a certain square in Manhattan. He bought that square.
What,
He bought
Times Square?
Avengers Tower. No, it's not Times Square. I forgot what the fuck it's called because I don't really go into the city. But he bought Stark Tower out from under Tony Stark. He bought anything that was fucking connected to it in Manhattan, owned a whole bunch of shit, but he wasn't like a physical threat. He didn't really fight too many people. He was just a better version of Justin Hammer, really.
All right. So which one do you think is gonna be the one that Kang that was running the TVA warned us about? The one that's in Avengers or this one?
it's without really knowing where they're going. Like I can't really see where they're going. So for all intents and purposes, as of right now, it has to be this. It has to be this Kang. And the only reason I say that is because based on what the trailers say, it might not be this Kang that we see now. But the events of this movie might make this guy turn into the one that we're all fucking fearing when it comes to Kang Dynasty. Because this just might be the moment where he's like, yo, I should be fucking dominant. And this interaction has proven to me that I've been lazy and sitting on my ass too long. Time to buck up and fuck shit up.
Unless this one's being played as a fool by another Kang.
That's quite possible. That's quite possible too. But again, no. This is one of the rare times that, because they're going based off of. They're really going based off of whatever the fuck they want to do with these movies. So I can't really predict a fucking roadmap of where they're going or what they might do.
I don't know. It might be just like like this one fails and the other one does some Thanos shit at the end of it. I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Or they just like he fucking finds his way and unlocks in the time crunch or whatever the fuck that shit's called. When they fucked everything up and killed the other Kang, like he might have been released.
Oh, when
because these Kangs had to have been locked up somewhere if he was controlling them. So that's what I'm saying. Like this quantum realm has to be a prison or a hideout, and the other ones have to be released somewhere. If he's afraid of his variants and he's controlling everything, they have to be locked away somewhere.
Well, that is one theory, but it's also, you can also posit that because He Who Remained was literally in control of the timeline and in control of writing it, that anytime another version of himself tried to do anything, he just erased it and rewrote time. And then once Sylvie cut off He Who Remains hold on time, and they got past the point where he can no longer control it, now we start seeing all these guys rise up. So it might not be a thing where they were literally trapped in prisons. It's just a thing where he's in charge, and anything I can do just gets debunked or vetoed by him anyway. So I'm just gonna sit here, bide my time, and if the moment arises, now I strike. But plus, it also made it seem like the whole Kang War that he had was cyclical. Like he found time travel, saw all of his other versions. They all did something, fought. He stopped them all, controlled time. This shit happened. It goes back. He finds that. Like, it seems like every so often, the whole shit reset and played out again. I mean, I could be reading too much into it, but that's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, but didn't that mean that she had to kill him then?
That's what I've been saying. But I've been getting overruled and saying that she's a horrible person.
See, this is where it becomes confusing now, because now we got Kang and you just made it that they're just hiding out and getting vetoed and they killed this motherfucker. Kang should destroy the MCU.
But again, so the only reason is if I'm in control. So right now, you're in control of this stream, right? If I start saying something you don't like, what do? You mute my mic, you kick me off the stream. So why then would I do something to provoke you? But if you left and weren't in control of anything, I'd say do whatever the fuck I want now.
Yeah, but that didn't stop for people from being encouraged. That didn't stop Sylvie from killing people. It's not like he had a magic button that deleted people. That he had to send the TVA to people to go get them. And he probably was hiding out in the quantum realm because that's why he couldn't make an incursion in the quantum realm.
Yeah, but the one fact that you're forgetting is it's himself. He knows you. Who knows you better than yourself?
Yeah, but he's running everything.
That
He's
version
not.
is.
Yeah.
Because remember, he said himself, he who remains said, there were worse versions of me. And if you do this, they show up. I'm paraphrasing, but that's something to
No,
what he's
yeah.
told. So they didn't show up before because so long as he was in charge, they didn't have a need to rise up. Because in certain situations, it's better to just sit back and bide your time than try to attack. Especially when the man is literally writing every moment that ever happens in history to a certain point.
So then
Right.
this. No, I mean this man wrote history, and now the people he's afraid of is out there. So unless they're gonna write history again to stop him, I don't see them moving on from this.
So again, he who remains
What up,
was
normal guy?
afraid of him. What's up, man? He who remains was afraid of him because he knows how ruthless they can be. He's gone. He's dead. Sylvie killed him.
Yeah.
So now we deal with the other ones. This guy, yes, he should be a big, massive threat. But at the end of the day, he's just a fucking man in a suit.
So why was this?
Good.
So why was it so? If you kill me, they're gonna come that are worse than me.
Because from his perspective, I'm in control of the timeline. I'm making sure that everything happens in a nice, smooth, orderly manner. You get to live your life. You get to do what you're doing. You get to go on thinking that everything's in your control and nothing bad's going to happen. But if I die, he's going to show up. Let's just go with one so it's not confusing. He's going to show up and he's not going to run this in a nice, organized, evenly manner. He's not going to make sure that you have a nice life. He's not going to make sure that you go through your day to day in the assumption that you are in charge of your own destiny and all that. He's going to fuck shit up. He's going to torture. He's going to make everything suck. He's only going to think about himself. And the only way to stop him is you have to now rise up and figure out a way to go beat his ass. It's the same thing with it's a similar thing with Thanos. It's like, okay, we were all doing great until Thanos showed up. And then Thanos whooped our ass, and we had to figure out how the fuck do we stop this guy. It's the same thing with this Kang. We had He Who Remains. Everything was going great. Sylvie did what she did. And now this dude's gonna come up, and let's see what the fuck he does. Because again, he has access to the one thing that Thanos technically had access to, but didn't have enough time with, ironically. Because he had the time stone, but Kang has time itself. So Kang can kill you today, then go back in time to before you got to him, kill you then let you fucking think you have a chance, see how everything plays out. You try to stop him, kill you again. Cause there's a thing in the fucking in the Comic-Con trailer where he's like, yo, didn't I kill you already? I've killed so many Avengers I can't remember.
Yeah, but is that time or is that multiverses?
That's time. Him specifically is time. Where the multiverse comes is, so I jump from, so you remember how the timelines at the end they started splitting.
Yeah.
So he can jump through the timelines. So where the multiverses are is he goes from one timeline to the other. That's a new fucking multiverse. That's a new fucking thing that wasn't 616, let's say. So he can jump there, stop you guys, or see how things would play out. Kind of like what Doctor Strange did, where he looked at all these fucking timelines to see the one time we stopped Thanos. Kang can do that, but instead of just looking at him, go over there, take you out. Figure out where you are over here, come back, and if he sees anything similar, well, I know how to take you out. Jump around, fuck shit up over here, or in our timeline, Tony Stark's gone. This piece of equipment hasn't been invented yet. But in that timeline, Tony Stark isn't gone. So he'll go over to that one and we'll see a different variant, or we can see a different variant of Tony Stark who's still alive and has built something that Kang will now take, come back to our shit, hit us with that shit. But what makes him different from Thanos is where if you take the Power Stones off and the Gauntlet off of Thanos, he's still a fucking... You still got to fight him. And he's still a threat on his own. If you take the tech away from Kang, he's not that big of a threat.
All right. So what else can we expect from this movie besides Kang?
Well, different characters showing up. We're probably gonna get, I hope not too much, but a lot of setup for other shit that's coming up.
What's going on, RKH? Like what?
So we got the Guardians and the Marvels coming up. Those two are space things. They could very well be something that happens in this that sets off events that impact the other two movies.
Like what?
That's the fucking beauty of it. With Kang, it could be anything, it could be everything, it could be nothing. It's hard to tell what because they're not going off of specific comic runs. So it's not like I can pinpoint and go, oh, this is this run in which this happened. They're literally now making the story as they go now. So it could be anything, really.
The pie in the sky. What do you think based off of what you've seen and what we know already? What do you think?
It's so hard to pie in the sky this, because this trailer makes it seem like simultaneously the start of the multiverse saga proper and the end of something. And it's like, how do you extrapolate if this feels like an end type movie, like an end game? How do you extrapolate further from that?
End type movie? What do you mean, like the end of Ant-Man, or
no? Like it literally feels like Endgame. Like that's the vibe I'm getting. Like this is the big fucking deal. And at the end of this, the literal next step after that, everything had fucking changed. And it's hard. This is what makes me so excited for this movie is I can't predict where it's gonna go. Which means for once, or it happened a few times, but for once I get to sit in the theater and just watch the story unfold. Instead of trying to be a few steps ahead, I just get to sit back and enjoy what the fuck they're telling me now.
Yeah. So if this feels like an end game and this a lot more shit has to happen, then this has to be a part 1.
Not a literal part 1, like they're not gonna his Quantumania part 2, but this is the first step in which is gonna lead us to eventually the Kang Dynasty and then Secret War. But this seems like a big, and I might be overhyping a little bit. I hope I'm not, but again, I don't know. Nobody knows until we see the movie. I think it comes out next month?
Yeah, February.
But this seems like Marvel went, all right, we got all the Phase 4 shit out the way. Here's where we start. Like the start of this movie shouldn't be, or not that it shouldn't be, but I would be all right if the start of this movie was the fucking gun that they fire off at the start of a race. Where we're just like the Marvel logo shows up and bang, and then we're off and running. Fucking 16 laps around this goddamn marathon track till we get to the end.
Okay, and then when is the next one is Kang Dynasty, right? In the saga?
Well, it depends because we don't know when and where. I don't think there was like a concrete statement on when and where Kang can show up. So I guess technically the next thing that would deal directly with Kang would be Loki season 2.
Okay, then we got
Then after that we have a whole bunch of other movies and shit that are coming out that probably have nothing to do that probably don't have like very specific things to do, but this movie will touch on, you know how they do the Marvel Legends where, hey, buy these 5 figures, and if you do that, you get enough pieces to make a 6th one.
yeah.
I think that's what they're gonna do here, where, hey, watch these movies, and by the time you watch them all, we know where Kang Dynasty is gonna be. We can see now where the roadmap is that led to that. Which, if done right, is gonna bring Marvel. It has the potential to bring Marvel back to the Infinity Saga days, where everybody was like, "Yo, we have to see what the next one is, because we have to get that one piece that leads into the next thing, that leads into the next piece, and then the next piece."
So is Loki season 2 coming out right after the Kang, or is that the next TV show, or?
I think that's the next. I'm gonna look it up to make sure, but I think that's the next TV show, or at least that's one of the TV shows coming out this year.
And then you think they're gonna address Kang in that one? I know they ended with Kang showing up, but
Well, I mean, they kind of have to. Loki literally legit looked at him and was like, "Who the fuck is that?" They kind of have to address him now.
I mean, yeah, they can address him. I don't think the whole season needs to be about Kang because no one knows who Loki is anymore.
True, but see that's what I was saying. Where you have now Loki will give you the next piece, so you got to watch Loki to get that next piece of the Kang pie or the puzzle, and then wherever that leads off, whatever comes after that, that'll give you the next little piece, and then the next piece. Because Kang Dynasty is not coming for at least 3 years? It's like 2026. It's coming, and then they pushed Secret Wars back to 2027. So we still have 3 years and however many movies and shows to get through before we can get enough pieces for us to discern exactly what's going on. And in the same vein as the first the Infinity Saga, where none of the movies themselves point to the fucking Infinity Saga directly, but they each have pieces in them. And when you connect all the dots and you get all those little pieces, then you're like, okay, this is fucking Infinity War coming up.
Yeah, but how do you get how do you put little pieces in here and there for Kang? What do things change?
So little piece, something to what I was saying. Little piece you put Quantum Mania. That's Kang the Conqueror. Loki. That's Kang the fucking corporate boss. That's a different Kang, not the Kang from Quantum Mania. The next movie they mention another Kang. And you're like, all right, we got fucking 15 Kangs running around. What the fuck's going on? And then Kang Dynasty, they either all fight or there's another war, or they do the swerve and it's been one Kang this whole time. Which would be fucking, that'd be kind of dope if he was able to perpetuate his name so much that everybody was like, oh shit, look at that one, and then there's that one, but it's all the same dude. Which, by the way, the summer of this year, that's when Loki 2 comes out. And I can't
Okay,
get more specific on that.
No, but that's the next show, right?
As far as Marvel's concerned, that might be.
But that's not. But there's gonna be another movie before that.
Yeah, because the let's see,
The Marvels, right?
definitely Guardians 3. That's definitely coming out because that's taking over the fucking Labor Day weekend, I want to say.
Okay.
That's taking the Labor Day weekend spot. And then let's see, the Marvels. The Marvels come out in July. So it very well, all three movies can very well come out before Loki comes out. So we can get, theoretically, we can get Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That's our first piece. Then 2 movies. Then Loki gives us our next piece. Then another movie or so. And then we get another piece after that. Because again, they got to spread this out over 3 years. They can't just have, a connected.
Yeah.
No fun is when you go 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Like you got to jump all over the place.
Yeah. So I mean, shit. With the way you're making this shit look like, it's like all these shows and movies, unless it's like ground level or intergalactic, they have to touch on it somehow.
Well, okay. So like I said with the Infinity Saga, not all of them touched Thanos and the Infinity War that we got. But all of them led to a decision that made Thanos' job easy, if that makes any sense. Because Civil War didn't touch Thanos at all, but it fractured the Avengers. So that when Thanos came in, it was easy peasy. They weren't united. Thor Ragnarok didn't touch Thanos at all, but it put Hulk in a position to fight Thanos and then make him the messenger. Be like, oh shit, this dude's coming and he's fucking bad. So it could be that I think is what they're gonna. It's the only thing I can think of is what they're gonna do again, is where not all of these touch directly, but something happens in this one that leads another domino down in this one, that does another domino in another movie, and then by the time you see it, you're like, okay, all this had set up situations in which Kang, whichever version of Kang is the ultimate one in charge, can now come in and set up and do exactly what he needs to do because everything else has been set up for him.
Yeah, but most of the stuff that was set up in the Infinity Wars was like Loki. He was the henchman going around.
Yeah, because that's what do you call it? That's what Thanos put in place. He put Loki here to fuck with everything and set it up. But now with
So
Kang, it's not so much.
so
It's
if
not so
somebody
much. I don't think it's going to be so much him having somebody running around and positioning things. It's going to be him looking at a fractured timeline, and even if we don't see the fractures, he's going to step back and look at the fractures and go pinpoint that moment, that moment, that moment. So where he doesn't need somebody to come in and agitate, he can now just literally look at, all right, when's the most inopportune time or the most opportune time for me to come in and do some shit, or for, the next breadcrumb to be released, so that, oh, that just set up something else that's going to make it easier for him to do something else. And it wouldn't have happened had the timeline not been fractured, had this shit not been. It could be as simple as somebody sitting there going, somebody saying some innocuous line that everybody's like, oh, it's a throwaway line. And then it comes back around. And you're like, oh shit, he did say that. And now we know what the fuck it led to. And I know that's I know that's super vague and super, speculatory, but this is what makes Marvel so good, is when all you have is people screaming at, is it Mephisto? Is it Mephisto?
yeah, but you think something higher is gonna because the way you're talking with Kang being the guy that's gonna fucking take over or destroy the timeline for whatever reason, you would need like a watcher or somebody that's a high level guy or like the Eternals or some shit to come down and be like, yo, listen, you gotta stop this dude. And they put together their team or like let's say one of the Eternals or somebody from that shit comes down and convinces the new Captain America and all these people like, yo, we gotta stop him. Y'all don't see what he's doing, but you gotta stop him.
Your last point could very well be where there could be somebody who comes down and gathers the new Avengers, whatever form that takes, and goes, hey, this is the threat. This is what we got to stop. As far as your other thing, I mean, you could have literally said the same thing about Thanos. Like, how come the Watcher didn't do shit? How come the fucking Eternals didn't do shit? I mean, Selma Hayek literally sat there and was like, I watched Thanos kick the shit out of the world, and then they put it back together, and they did nothing. Like,
But that was supposed to happen.
yeah, in Kang's time and all that, it was supposed to happen. But before we got even to know that Kang, or He Who Remains, was writing the shit himself, you can make that argument. Like, where the fuck were these guys at? Which is why I'm saying, like, Kang is a very good next villain, because he can be stopped. Once you figure out how to do so, he can be stopped. It's not like a Thanos thing where it's like, yo, we need a convoluted fucking, let's jump back to and recollect shit that no longer exists in our timeline to get this fucking thing and make a gauntlet ourselves and X, Y, and Z. There's no need for that with Kang. You just need to figure out how to stop him. Which is what I think, if they, pie in the sky if I was running shit. Thanos is the one where, oh shit, we need to come up with a complicated plan to stop this guy because we can't just one-on-one stop him. Then you move on to Kang, where it's like, cool, as long as we figure out a plan, we can stop him. Then you get to the third villain, which is Doctor Doom, which is, even if we stop him, we can't get rid of him. And that's how you'd move on. That's how I would make Doctor Doom for the whatever the next phase and the next storytelling portion of Marvel is Doom's always here. You beat Thanos, you beat Kang, you're not beating Doom. You might have stopped him, but you don't beat him.
Like Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing shit that Kang killed Thanos. Like I'm seeing videos on how it was Kang who stopped Thanos or some shit like that. Do you think that the Loki season 1 took place pretty much at the timeline of the Infinity Wars?
Yeah, because I definitely think in that moment where he took the Tesseract, he went off and had, Loki's week at the TVA, and all that was happening in a separate but also flowing in the same direction strand of that timeline. Definitely. I haven't seen any of those videos of how Kang killed Thanos. So I don't know if you want to enlighten me on what their theories
No,
are.
I didn't watch it. I just saw the thumbnails, but it's just one of those things. Like, because I can see where it's not that Kang that's holding him back. It's the fact that there's the Infinity Stones in this universe and Thanos, that he could be like, all right, this has to happen. And I can, like, he convinced Thanos to destroy the Infinity Stones, or he waited for Thanos to destroy the Infinity Stones to come out. But then when we went back in time and got him back and did all this other stuff, there's also speculation that Tony Stark went back in time 3 times before anybody even tested the shit out to go stop Kang from doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been that, like, right, that the shit we're seeing now doesn't make sense or doesn't connect to anything, because it could have been that's what Kang's fucking up. And then
So
the
you mean
quantum,
phase 4?
yeah, like the quantum realm is really phase 3.5, but they're calling it phase 5 because Loki didn't destroy or Sylvie didn't destroy the timeline until, or she destroyed the timeline and all these parallel universes branched off right during Endgame. Because when Loki went with the Tesseract was Civil War. Then they fast forward to his death, which happened right before Infinity Wars. They had
You mean-
nothing else after that.
You mean the first time where he actually stole it?
When he got arrested in in the first Avengers,
Okay, yeah.
and then he was put in the TVA. They showed him his death from Thanos. So it's from the first Avengers to Infinity
At the start of
Wars.
Infinity War.
That is the timeline where he was in the TVA. So if they killed Kang in between all that shit, then it could have been Kang the one that set all these things in motion to weaken the Avengers, because he knew how credible they were, and it was like, well, Thanos couldn't do it. Now I got to figure out some other shit.
I mean, that's certainly a theory that you can go with. I wouldn't personally go with that.
I mean, like it's like, what part? Like, when does Sylvie kill the Kang that's running the TVA, the one that's left?
So
When did she kill him?
According to Kevin Feige, at the same moment Doctor Strange is trying to do his spell with Peter Parker. Kevin
Then how-
Feige said that with Spider-Man adding shit to the spell, making Doctor Strange lose concentration, the moment when right before it fucking exploded, what Sylvie did lined up with that moment. So when it hit, that's what actually gave the ability to all those fucking different universes to open up and connect so people could start coming through. Hence, what Reed Richards was saying is in what the fuck incursion events. Like at that moment, it is the veil between universes was so thin and easily penetrable that now we have this one encroaching on our world. So that sets up all the incursion events or the possibility of incursion events. And again, that's just going off of what Kevin Feige said.
Yeah, but I mean that's a jump in the timeline for when Loki left, unless they fast forwarded time to when he died.
No, so remember, the TVA itself and all that exists outside of time.
I know that, but I'm saying like when they went to that place to go kill Kang, did he fast forward time into the spot where Strange fucking did the spell?
No, because remember, he just said we are now at a point where he's not in control. So he was keeping everything tight. And when Sylvie got there, you literally see the moment, and he pinpoints the moment. It's like from here on, I don't know what the fuck happens. He's no longer in control. So they didn't fast forward time. Where they were, all time exists at once. So it's quite possible that Sylvie's event, again, the incursions, we don't know how Reed Richards knows what the incursions are because he already knows about it by the time we get to him. At the end of Doctor Strange, what's her name? Charlize Theron comes out. I think Clea is her name. Rips open the thing. Hey, we got a fucking another incursion event you got to deal with. What we saw was our beginning or beta test of an incursion event for us with Spider-Man and everybody he knows coming in. So all that happens, time is weird, like I said before, because all that's happening in at its own time simultaneously. That's what happens with that whole time is a flat circle bullshit. But so they didn't speed up time. Is they're just in a moment, and it just so happens that at this point she did something and Spider-Man did something that coincided. And it couldn't be stopped and it couldn't be thought of and it couldn't be predicted because they had already passed the threshold where he who remains was no longer writing the story. He was no longer in charge. I see I see that's a little confusing for you.
No, so technically she stabbed him during the spell and Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, according to Kevin Feige, yeah. It lined up so that all that shit happened at the same time. Just when it needed to. Or because I don't remember the exact wording he used, or it could have been what she did, the ripple effect. So she stabs, the whole timeline unwinds, and then because of it unwinding, again, the veil between universes got to the point where it was easily ruptured, Strange fucking up the spell, ripped open that veil because of the wording of the spell and how it was misused and shit like that.
And then at the end of the movie, when they blew up the spell, that's just
You essentially what they did was they unknowingly stopped an incursion event. That's what I'm
reversing the spell.
assuming we're gonna learn. Is that they've already stopped one incursion event. Because remember, Doctor Strange, Reed Richards was saying that if you let it get to a point, you then have to pick which world dies.
Like
'Cause they both can't coexist in the same spot at the same time.
like when Doctor Strange was in his own shit when he had the dark hole.
Yeah.
So Reed Richards knew about the incursion event because of the Spider-Man shit in his timeline.
No. What I think happened was they had their own incursion event that they stopped. And the way they chose to stop it was because, I mean, how else would you know that one of the worlds has to die unless you made that choice?
Yeah.
That's not, I don't care how smart you are, there's not a situation in the world where they're like, oh, these two things are going to collide, and the only way we could stop it is to kill one of them. Like that's not something you could just extrapolate.
Yeah.
Especially with him, he would try to figure out a way to have everything coexist first. Or he would just tell all the secrets. Like, hey Wanda, this motherfucker could kill you.
Yeah.
Which,
speaking of that, yeah.
There was a funny fucking animated thing that I saw. I think it's What Should Have Happened? Where Reed Richards was like, hey Wanda, I know you're looking for your kids. I also have a kid. I also have family. Hey Black Bolt, tell her about yours. And then he just fucking
Yeah. I
instead
mean,
of just,
that'd have been funny, but there's a rumor going around that the dude who played Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, is gonna be Mr. Fantastic.
oh, that could be good.
Yeah, Lay was saying that that's interesting because he's a good actor and all that. I haven't
It is.
seen him in anything outside of Star Wars.
He was in Marriage Story, which he got pretty high praise for that. He was in a few other things. He was in a TV show, which I Girls, I think it was. I'm not. It's an HBO show. I don't really watch those, but he was pretty good in that one. He's got a 65, I think it's called, where he's from the future, but he goes back to the past with dinosaurs, and now he's got to use future tech to fucking fight dinosaurs. That movie looks pretty fucking cool.
Okay.
I mean, he's a good choice, but now I'm wondering, with everything that happened, I mean, I guess he'd be fine doing another tentpole fandom type film because I don't see any of the backlash of the sequel trilogy on him. I haven't read. I don't know if you've seen anything, but I haven't read too much hate for
Now,
Adam Driver
from what I'm seeing, all the hate is on Ray
and Finn.
Yeah.
I mean, other than just calling Kylo Ren a bitch, but I mean, come on. At one point, Vader was. At one point, Luke was. Like,
Yeah.
it runs in their family. I'll tell you right now, not to get off on a tangent, but he had me hooked the minute he went. The minute he looked at his knights and was like, "Oh well, fuck it."
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I was like, all right, he got his, because I was like, yo, he's a badass dude when he stopped the phaser, when he stopped that laser beam with the force. Like, yo, this dude is strong. And then went downhill. And then he goes and fights the knights and is like, all right, He got it back. But so you don't think anybody's pulling Kang's strings?
No. I don't know. I don't think so because I don't think there'd be anybody. I don't think there'd be anybody to pull Kang's strings. At least not the one in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is maybe the baddest Kang is maybe pulling those Kang strings, or like you said, Doctor Doom.
No, Doctor Doom is not. Doctor Doom is hiding in the wings. The only way to do Doctor Doom effectively in this version of Marvel is for him to sit back, see an opening, and take the power that everybody's like, oh, this power is too much for anybody. And he just goes, up, mine, I'm in charge now. You don't think anybody can handle it, but I figured it out. Skadoosh. Like, it's like I figured out the fucking pinky trick. I'm good to go. And that way, when he does that, everybody's like, what? And now there's a real fucking threat.
My man got the Infinity Gauntlet without without any of the backlash of it, the way it's supposed to be in the comics.
Like he's wearing the soul gem as a fucking earring, the time gem as a nose piece, the power stone as a cock ring. Like he's fucking good. Like, but Doom is not a puppet master. He's not gonna. He thinks he's too smart to have to manipulate a situation. He thinks he could just go into the situation and fucking handle it. And I don't see right now with the way they're telling the story, but it looks like I don't see why or to what benefit it would be if Kang's just a puppet in his own fucking. Even if it is another Kang, this dude is. They're gonna minimize what the Kang we get first is. Like I don't mind different versions, and I don't even mind if there's one that's worse than this one. But for him to be pulling strings, that just seems too much of a stretch.
I mean, we got to get to unless at the end of this they think they killed Kang and he just, found a way out of the quantum realm and he's in a different timeline.
Again, you don't have to kill all your fucking villains. Like they could just stop him and we move on until we get that next piece, like I said. Once Kang Dynasty comes, that's when you gotta actually deal with him for real.
You think he's gonna bring back Ultron?
Maybe not for. I don't see why. All right, so I don't see why in these beginning phases in the beginning movies, I don't see why he would need Ultron, because Ultron would not follow him. Ultron would again analyze the situation and be like, "No, I'm better than this motherfucker. I'm not gonna listen to him." He'd be a problem now. Now, bringing him back in Kang Dynasty to fuck shit up and get sucked into Secret Wars, I could see that. I could see him like, yo, I need a fucking distraction. Yoink, drop him in there and be like, you deal with him while I go do whatever the fuck I need to do. I think that's when that would make the most sense, to be honest.
So,
plus, at the moment, we don't know, like I said, we don't know which Kang goes where and if there truly are multiple Kangs. So as of right now, just going off of what we know, I don't know what this Kang, who's been in the quantum realm this whole time, knows what the fuck Ultron is. I mean, there is a small assumption that he might know, but it's not a necessity that he would. And if he does know, it'll probably be on the basis of, oh, Ultron, you mean the fucking robot that you guys easily beat? I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? Because to him, watching them win should just mean, oh, these are just guys that you easily were able to dispatch. But I'm not like that.
Shit. So that, because you bring up a point with him not possibly not knowing Ultron, because then that means that this place has to be like a prison or just a home that he never got out of. So what would he? He would be. Well, he knew Ant-Man from the trailer. He knew who Peter Quill was.
Yes. Well, I don't know about Peter Quill.
I mean, not Peter Quill. Scott Lang. He knew who Scott Lang was.
Yes. But now, when you go to 838, the other shit that they visited in Multiverse of Madness, those were Ultron bots, but that wasn't Ultron.
Yeah.
So again, he has knowledge of people, but we don't necessarily know if he knows this guy. You know, he might be like, "Oh, I know Scott Lang is Ant-Man because I fought 6 of them over there." But that doesn't mean he knows this Scott Lang. Because again, the trailers that we're seeing haven't said the same thing that the one that was reported out of Comic-Con. So now it's starting to get a little bit muddled as to what exactly is known, what's not known. Because as we know, trailers and teasers and all that, they do add shit that doesn't make the movie. So you might see something or hear something that doesn't make it into the movie.
Yeah. So do you think?
Good.
Because do you think that his purpose here would not be not to get out the quantum realm, but to get to the place where the other Kang was writing time? You think maybe his mission would be to put all the time into one thing to control it again, like so he could run it, or like
It wouldn't seem that way because based off of what the He Who Remains was saying, they were all jockeying for control, but not jockeying for the same control. Like he won and took time and wound it up nice and neat and all that, but that is not what the other ones would have done. That's the vibe I was getting from him, and why he has so much trepidation for the other Kangs. It's because they're not gonna do shit the way he would have done it. It's the same reason why if you got somebody in your family that can't drive and you got a nice car, you give the keys to everybody but that one person because they might fuck up your car.
yeah. So how do you see this guy trying to fuck up the talent? What do you think this Kang's end goal is? Because they haven't mentioned a love interest or somebody that he's trying to get.
Again,
know,
I think this Kang's end goal is to get back whatever it was whatever it is he's looking for. To get that back and then to get the fuck out of the quantum realm. I honestly think that he has been, again, not so much trapped there as in he's a prisoner, he can't do anything. I think he has been trapped there in the sense of, with He Who Remains running the show, that I don't have the opportunity to strike. So I'm going to build my fucking resources up until that moment. And now that he's gone, this is the time I get to fucking go.
Well, if you think about it, him hiding out, waiting for the other one makes sense because the quantum realm is where they went to connect time. because they had to go through the quantum realm to get to the other time periods
Yeah.
when they went back in time for that. So he could be either hiding out there because he doesn't want this one to write him off, or
Yeah, it could be that too. This could be the one place that the other Kang couldn't affect because it is also outside of the realm of time.
because wasn't he? We call him the one who's left because wasn't he supposed to be he who remains the last one of his kind in all those different variants?
Well, he who remains is because he was the one who won the Kang War. So whatever happened to all the other ones, he clearly knew that there were still other versions of him out there.
Yeah.
But he was the last one standing in that war. He clearly won it. So out of everyone, seemingly what it sounds like is out of everyone that can affect shit, he was the one who remained, and he was the one running everything. Which, in and of itself, is a fucking feat and a half to take care of all time, all at once, to make sure that it runs smoothly, and to write it. Like that's a fucking... He has to be, or at least that version of him, has to clearly be the smartest one to come out on top.
So here goes a question I don't think that anybody asks. Why would he let Sylvie kill him then?
Because I honestly think once he was past the point of no return, he knew there was nothing else he can do. And if there's nothing else he can do, and the guys coming up next are fucking worse, the fuck's the point of sticking around? I'd have to really go back and watch that. Because the answer is either A, what I just said, why stick around in a position where you can no longer affect the outcome, and the people who are coming up are more vicious than you are and actually willing to fucking destroy instead of build, or he got so tired he was like, well, fuck it, a little bit of chaos is good. I'll give you the option, which is the false choice. I'm gonna make it seem like there's a choice. Either you take over or you kill me. When in reality, I'm sitting there and be like, here's your options. You either take over or kill me. You could take over or you could kill me. I just like pushed her into it.
So that was his last attempt to write time.
Either that or like he was just like, well, fuck it. If we're past the point of no return, might as well fucking do a little reset. Because I believe he also said something to that effect.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it'll happen again, and I'll be right back here in a minute.
Yeah, so now is he dead? Or is he just running the TVA in a different light now?
I think this version of him at this time is dead. And then if it continues in the way he says it does, and Kang Dynasty is the fucking Kang War, the younger version of what eventually will become He Who Remains will rise up and go back and take his fucking spot. And then he will see the timeline and realize, oh shit, I have already written all this because I would have done X, Y, and Z, and it happened the same way. Because, like I said, it's weird because at a certain point it seems cyclical. At a certain point it seems linear. At a certain point it seems like he's bullshitting. Like it's very hard to get a grasp on exactly what the fuck is happening.
Now, Owens, the guy from Loki season 1. I'm thinking of Clyde Owens, but it's not Clive Owens.
Owen Wilson,
Owen Wilson. There you go. Yeah.
Morbius.
You think he's gonna be like a major character coming in these movies?
Well, definitely. I don't think the movies, but definitely in season 2 of Loki, he's going to be a big character in that. But I don't see any character that's an ancillary character in the TV shows becoming a huge part of the movies. With the exception of maybe Bradley becoming the becoming Patriot. But that's again if they even do a Young Avengers movie, which they're setting up pieces for. But who knows when and if that's coming down the pipeline. That wasn't part of any of the things they've announced. And there has been now, I believe there has been a memo or something, a decree put out where they were saying that they're gonna focus more on quality instead of quantity. So they started either pushing shit back or taking things off of their docket. You all right there, man?
Yeah, I got a thing like a eyelash bent in my eye and shit. I'm trying to take it out. I just can't. I can't see it, and I can't fucking take it out. That's why I'm like. That's why I'm keeping it like keep opening it because it's like it's fucking with me.
What do you think? I sat here for like what, almost an hour and a half.
Yeah.
What do you
Well,
think?
what I'm thinking is that this movie is gonna be somewhat you said, but he's gonna like this one has to be the introduction to Kang, but not like a full like a just a here goes Kang, and we have an idea of what he's gonna do in the other movies. Like maybe that shit that he's looking for is a piece that he can't find or he can't get to because he is a normal man and he doesn't have the means to get out of the quantum realm, or he doesn't know that the time fucked up and the other Kang is dead. So he gets Scott to give him the piece, and then he leaves the quantum realm and he's collecting all this tech from everywhere to make something that's gonna fucking maybe destroy time in itself. You know, because that's where he's like the true way to control shit is basically the Thanos shit. You know, just destroy time itself and then restart it because that's what the TVA that power does. So he just wants to restart time in his own image, and he finds he gets the piece to make it, and then he leaves, and then we don't see him until later, or we start hearing about these other pieces that he needs, like almost like the Infinity Stones and shit. And then when he comes back, he's like, "Yo, this guy's almost done. He just needs a quantum reactor that only fucking Reed Richards knows how to make, and he made it here, and all the other failed attempts, like some shit like that, or Sue Storm is the only one that knows how to do something. He needs Jubilee's powers,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking this: if he's a time traveler, and Thanos is dead, and the one who's left is dead, and they opened up the incursion and stopped it with Spider-Man. I'm thinking that this Kang is going to different parts of the timelines and fucking shit up very, very seldomly. Like, they're all looking for incursions, and he knows that. So he's going around changing things here and there. That's not a big change for for the moment right then and there, but a big change for the future. So maybe Endgame wasn't supposed to happen with Thanos coming from the past to fight the future and do all this other shit. but maybe he does something like he's in the timeline and he does something to Nebula's wiring where he gets the frequency right, and that's how they connect. He's like, oh, if we fuck up Nebula, boom, he's gonna figure it out. All right, now let's go over here. Let's do this. You know, like the Shang-Chi shit. He's like, yo, once he gets this shit to work, now we're gonna send out the signal to the aliens. You know, the Celestials. Oh, they're gonna turn on them. Like, I know who these guys are. They're gonna turn on them. Call this fucking god. You know what I'm saying? Like something where it's like maybe he does something to the other Celestial that gives her the power to turn this the Eternal. You know, gives the Eternal the power to turn the Celestial into a stone. Where it's like very little shit, but it affects massive things in the future that people can't see in their little blips of the radars because all that technology is flawed anyway. And if he has the technology, and he should know about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could just be that where it's like, oh, the reason why is boom, and then I got the Eternals off the planet. I got Thanos dead from the past. I got Tony Stark's dead because he risked his life. Fucking Steve Rogers decided to go live his life because he thought the battle for life was over. And all the other Avengers are pretty much fractured and doing their own thing. So now is the perfect time to come fuck shit up. Like whatever Shang-Chi program, like
Whatever it's pinging.
yeah, whatever he's pinging is what Captain Marvel fights. You know what I'm saying? Like they're over there and that thing is transporting whatever to Shang-Chi, or she runs into it or something. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a reason why all these powerful people are gone. Like he does something to Thor, and now Thor's fucked up again emotionally that we didn't see. You know, and that's why, you know, Thor 3 the Love and Thunder happened. And like the gods, like he's you know, like something happens where he maybe he gave Heath Ledger the sword. Like he figured out where the sword was and he just go kill the god. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you have Heath Ledger, Christian Bale. Like, I don't know why. Right, I'm on 10%.
I can tell.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he's doing something that affects every movie indirectly. That is just, this is why we don't have heroes coming, but Hercules is coming to fuck shit up. The fucking some young boy, the dragon, the alien Bing Fang Foom is coming to fuck shit up. The Miss Marvel is off planet now. The fucking super soldier serum has been destroyed. There's no more super soldier serum. Loki, like they erased Loki's memory, like people's memory of Loki. You know, like it could be certain things that he's doing to get, you know, to get the perfect opportunity for shit to happen. And like you said, it could be like he made the thing, he fails because you can't beat the Avengers. And that's where Doom goes. Now it's time to strike. Right. Or Doom, or maybe Doom just goes, that would have never happened in Latveria. Now I got to take over the planet so that way this shit don't happen no more. This is your third strike.
You had your time and now it's...
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the reason why y'all people get fucked up all the time is because you don't have a ruler for the planet. You're too busy fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Because isn't that his motive?
Who, Doom?
Yeah, like he just wants to rule everything pretty much.
Yeah. But now here's my question to you. He Who Remains was in the spot to write all this shit. How does this Kang from Ant-Man get that? Like which Kang in your scenario is doing all this?
I think there's only one Kang. Oh, this is like this is there's only one Kang. I think he knows that he can't beat these guys because he is an immortal guy, immortal man. He knows with all these other people, he can't stop him because at this point, at one point, the Eternals were gonna be like, "Fuck it, we're gonna save the planet." You know what I'm saying? We're not listening to y'all. This is our planet. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna help people out. So we gotta get them off planet. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like he's masterminding this shit. And that big bad where you see him is not Thanos imposing, willing to kill everybody, you know, because he doesn't give a shit. As opposed to, oh shit, this guy is worse than Thanos because he killed us. Like he's playing chess, and we didn't know that the board was set up already. Like we started the game in check. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so the one, so there's only one, and we just been watching him run around.
Yeah, like there's the one who remains, and then this one. There could be other ones that's been doing other shit that the one who's left is stopping them. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, when you're in control of everything, that doesn't mean you see everything. You know? So
Yeah.
it could just be he's been hiding in those incursions, doing stuff here and there. You know? That's what I'm thinking. Because in all actuality, what would he need from Scott Lang? If it's not the pen particles, it has to be something in that vehicle that they use to get into the quantum realm, or his wife because she has all that cosmic energy in her. She could suck up the quantum energy, like what she did with what was that girl's name from part 2?
Ghost?
Yeah, with Ghost.
Yeah, could be. I think that there's like a actual specific thing that was taken from him, just based on context clues. But I mean, that's the great thing is we don't know, and pretty much at the moment, this is Scherzingers cat. Everything is fucking true until the
Yeah,
movie comes out and we actually get to see what you just said is true, what I said is true, whatever other fucking theory. That's the fucking prevailing theory now.
yeah. For some reason, everybody's talking about the vibranium, and
Well, because so there has to be a subplot that we can follow that's outside of the major story. Since this is a fucking multi-year, multi-movie, this starts this starts in February and doesn't end until 2026, 2027. That's too big of a scope for us to only focus on that. Because, like I said before, not every movie is going to directly point. So there has to be subplots in there, like the vibranium, that might lead to Captain America 4, like something else in space that happens with either Guardians or the Marvels, like bringing the Fantastic Four in, or bringing Blade, or some other shit has to happen to keep us entertained as we start slowly pulling out and out further to see what the full picture is. I mean, that's just good storytelling. That's how
yeah,
the Infinity Saga was. It wasn't all just, hey, Thanos, 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 Thanos. Like,
yeah. But I mean, you don't think vibranium is gonna be the key to to what he needs.
I don't think he can give a shit about vibranium. But other characters do. And here's your answer to why other characters aren't immediately turning and going, oh shit, we gotta go that way. It's because one, they might not know yet, or they're distracted by the vibranium over here. Because it's like a good wrestling storyline. The Four Horsemen might be beating Sting's ass, and he might need to get at Ric Flair and all them boys. But Cactus Jack and fucking Abdul the Butcher came out of mysterious gift boxes. Here's a little something to distract you from me for a little bit before you fucking turn around and go, oh shit, yeah, that's right. I was going after them.
Yeah. I mean, this is the most anticipated movie of the year so far.
For you?
Well, yeah, I mean, Black Panther was anticipated. I felt like Black Panther was the start of Phase 5. But it could have been the end of Phase 4 because they're no longer introducing new people.
Yeah, I thought it was the clear end of Phase 4. The fucking everybody needs therapy. That's what Phase 4 was. Everybody here needs therapy. It's for some fucking problem they're doing.
Yeah.
And now we can get out of the therapist room and back into, hey, this crazy motherfucker's running around.
See, but now, is Kang the subplot or is it the main plot? Because we also getting that the shit with the different planets. With like the Guardians of the Galaxy. People are like Leia speculating that Nova's gonna come out of that. And then we just saw Scar from She-Hulk, where, you know, he keeps going to the other planet.
Yeah, so those would be the subplots. Because once we get to, remember, this is the multiversal war, or whatever the fuck they call it, the multiverse saga. And if it ends with Kang's dynasty, that's going to be the main fucking course. We get an appetizer now with Ant-Man and the Wasp. We get a few fucking dishes in between. Then we get to the main course. And you'll see, starting from this phase on, you'll see where, okay, this led into that, which led into that, which led into that, which now we're here in the fucking, you know, grand spectacle of whatever this movie's going to turn out to be.
Shit, you think Kang is gonna bring Scar from another universe, the one that we know from the comics, to fight Hulk and his son?
No, I think Marvel's just going to stick with what they have. They've already pissed off the fans. Why fucking, if you go back and change it now, you're only admitting to the fact that you fucked up.
I mean,
Like,
they changed She-Hulk at the end. She got to write her own story.
Yeah, that was always going to happen. I mean, it wasn't really a change. They just
Decided not to show anything.
Yeah, they try to be clever.
They got too cute, as some people would say.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to figure out, because I don't think this is gonna go on into the next movie. I don't think this is gonna go on to Loki. I think Loki's gonna either have a different Kang, or they're just gonna mention Kang is running it and not show him.
Well, so they have to mention him because they clearly turned around and Planet of the Apes this shit and was like, well, that wasn't there before. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But again, that's the beauty of Kang. Is there's so many of them that even if you're not talking about the one in Ant-Man and the Wasp, you're still talking about Kang.
You think that's gonna be a different Kang?
I think so.
You
'Cause
think that's gonna be a
that
worse
to me,
Kang? Or?
oh, that's definitely going to be a worse Kang. Because again, this one's reading as I need to get out of here. The one in, let me clarify. The one in Ant-Man and the Wasp so far in the 2 trailers that I've seen reads as I need to get the fuck out of here. Where the one time they showed the statue of Kang in the TVA at the end of Loki season 1, that read more of oh, this guy's already in charge.
Yeah.
So it could very well be that the one in Ant-Man and the Wasp gets out and becomes the one in Loki season 2, or they could be 2 separate ones. Because remember, the Council of Kangs is each iteration of Kang from the timeline all brought together, but it is still just him. Like they took the Pharaoh Kang and brought him over, and he's talking with Kang the Conqueror. But Kang the Conqueror is the fucking guy, is the Pharaoh guy.
So this isn't different variants of Kang. This is different times of Kang.
Yes. That's how it is in the comics. It's different. It's different versions of Kang from the different times in which he came from. It's not a different. It's not a different him.
It's not
It's
like
just
the
him from a
838
different
Kang.
time. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
838 Kang. It's just Kang from 830.
So maybe this one he needs something to go into the TVA. Maybe he needs to figure out a way to go to the TVA, and he gets Lang, or maybe he sends Lang into the TVA to get something, and then when they kill the other one, he rewrites. Maybe he got the power to rewrite shit now.
It could very well be.
Because I mean, if we're gonna assume all time happens at the same time in the TVA, then when Loki fucking comes out of the thing and they steal the statue of Kang, that could be the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Kang's already taken over the timeline.
Yeah, that could definitely be. Which is something you said before, where you don't think there's multiple Kangs, you just think it's the same guy. Which,
Yeah.
again, would technically be true. It is the same guy. We just keep seeing what we think it's, multiple versions of him, but it's just different points in time.
So would that be the same Kang that Sylvie killed? Because if that's the case, then it wouldn't be a different version of him. It could just be that he gets to write all the time at the same time that he dies. And he just tries to end the cycle. Because he knows Sylvie's going to kill him. And he's trying to figure out a way to end the cycle, or he's doing some other shit. I don't.
Well, see, that's the good thing, or that's the thing that you can do with all this time shit. Because if you play it off as this is the same person, and we're just seeing different points of time with him in it, then you get to see the progression of how he goes from here, where he's conquering, he's owning the TVA and all that shit, to where he realizes, oh, that's kind of fucking dumb. Now let me turn into this. Because I mean, in retrospect, he again, this is all weird because he literally said they all fought each other.
Yeah.
But again, if I took you, so here's my theory, right? If I took you from another fucking planet Earth, like Jet Li and the One, and brought you here and had you fight, that's two different versions of you fighting.
Yeah.
But if I just went back to 9 o'clock this morning and took you and brought you here and told you guys to fight, yes, that's still technically two different versions of you, but that's you from 9 o'clock this morning, not you from
Yeah.
a completely different fucking space and time,
Yeah.
which I know gets really fucking confusing, but it'd be possible depending on how you want to talk about time displacement and if the same molecules can occupy the same space at the same time, all that scientific bullshit. But negating that, it would be possible for you to just go back in time and now there's two of you. You take those two, go to a different time, meet up again, now there's three of you. Go into another time, now there's four of you. But it's all the same one. It's just that you're displaying four different points of time in one area.
All right. So
But again, I'd have, you know what we should do is, or what I should have done is, I should have went back and looked at his explanation.
well,
Of
here's the thing though. I'm gonna use the things that you said, right? If Reed Richards says that the only way to stop an incursion is to kill one of the planets or to kill one of the sides that's encouraging on the other, right? What if the incursion happened and that Kang's planet's dead and he goes to the quantum realm to save himself, and now he's trying to find a way to bring back his planet or his timeline, and the only way to reverse his incursion is to kill this planet or to kill this timeline instead, and that's the reason why we have to stop him.
that's another good fucking theory. That's another good theory, as that actually would make a lot of sense if an incursion event happened as a result of, because all time happens all at once, as a result of them passing that threshold. An incursion event happened and all he can do was take his one city and put it in the quantum realm. And now he's trying to figure out how to go back and prevent that or some shit like that. That's also a good fucking theory.
Because he would need a motive, and we always said that a good bad guy needs something we can relate to. So to save his timeline would be something that people could relate to. Like, all right, I can see me doing the same thing. Like, I could be behind them, as opposed to just I want to control everything. You know?
Yeah. Again, almost right now, until we see this movie, almost anything you say is fucking true. The theory that Kang he lost his cat and he needs Scott Lang to find that goddamn cat.
Yeah, right.
That's the whole movie hinges on a fucking calico who's just running around and nobody could find him. But Janet Van Dyne knows exactly where the fuck this cat loves to go and which trees, but she won't say some shit.
So, as a quick comparison to DC, would this be almost like an equivalent movie? Not with the motives and all, just the fact that Scott Lang's in the quantum realm and it's basically another planet or it's another dimension or some shit. Would this be similar to if DC were to do a movie with Darkseid? Like, if he was
No.
gonna do a Darkseid movie and be on his planet?
Well, Apocalypse? No. The dark side comparison would literally be Thanos. Because that's literally what Jack Kirby did. He went and did Dark Side and then came back and did Thanos. The same. He just went, all right, you won't let me do it over there. I'll just fucking do it at Marvel.
Just without the eye beams.
Yeah. And without the fucked up planet. Because Apocalypse is. The planet Apocalypse is like, hey, this is fucked for everybody except me. You're welcome.
It's
That's
hell.
Apocalypse.
It's hell on earth.
Yeah. And he's the only one who truly doesn't give a shit. All of his lieutenants, Beowulf, Steppenwolf, Big Barda, what? Not Big Barda, the fucking grandmother looking one, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck their names are. They're all just like, yo, if we don't say thank you, sir, we get killed. So my house is on fire every other day. Thank you, sir. It was a little cold this morning, so.
Hold on, let me blow my nose real quick, and then I want to get into the D&D shit. So, if you want, you could give a little synopsis of what D&D is, and then we'll talk about what's going on with it.
All right. So for anybody who doesn't know, doesn't play, has never heard of it, D&D is a tabletop role-playing game that was made in the 80s, and it is essentially a game that requires nothing. Well, almost nothing to play. There are no pieces, there are no boards. All there is some dice to roll, a sheet that tells you what your character can do and what's number to add to certain dice rolls, and then a set of rules in which to play by. And rules meaning, hey, this is what your character, like if you pick a wizard, this is what a wizard does. If you pick a barbarian, this is what a barbarian does. Outside of that, you can literally play it as is. I have nothing in my hand, nothing with me, and right now, if I had dice, which I have dice somewhere in my room, I'm not going to go get it, but if we just had dice, we could play right now. You make up a story, you have your character, and you go through the story that you are I can't even fucking say it.
Cooperatively.
There you go. That, hey, where's show now? You're saying big words now. You see what happened? You're away from show and you become a thesaurus now.
That's right.
So you could play it and you take your character and you go through scenarios and different story beats until the game's over. There's no point, there's no winning because it is a story, and games can last anywhere from a one shot, which is like 3 to 4 hours, to 6 months to 5 years. People have been playing the same game for 15 years, whatever. It back in the 80s, it was like a kid's game, it was a little hobby. It took a dip in the 90s because nobody thought it was cool. And there's recently been a resurgence of it within the last 20 years. It's been making a big comeback. For people who don't know, it was in Stranger Things. That's the game they played. They actually fought Vecna, which is one of the highest and most lore deep fucking villains within the D&D canon. If you do know, there's things like Critical Role, Dimension 20, and other actual play, what they call actual play games that are going on, and that has also helped to rebuild the game. What has happened is, about 20 years ago, Wizards of the Coast, they did an open gaming license in which they said, hey, as long as you don't call your as long as you don't use the same names for certain things that we use, you can make content that goes along and supplements what we do. So Wizard of the Coast comes out with a book, and they go, all right, here's the Book of Monsters. There's a Beholder, which is one of their things. Big fucking floating eye with other eyes. Here's the stats and all that behind it. Well, you were free to turn around and go, cool. I want to do something like that. So here's a seer. Has the same stat block, same powers, same everything, slightly different look, and it's called the seer. You get to put that in your game and print it in a book or do something to where you're like, hey, this is my version of this, and we're good to go. As fans, I literally get to take any part of the game, sit at my table, and use it any which way I want. It sounds great, right? But a controversy now comes in. They said that the original gaming license, the open gaming license, 0.1A, I think they call it, would not be revoked. That will be in perpetuity forever. And the last 20 years, we have seen the rise of Cobalt Press, other games that like Pathfinder, which is another game based off of the system of D&D. We've seen Critical Role. We've seen Dimension 20. We've seen a whole bunch, and I'm sorry because I don't watch all of them. So sorry, I can't say all of them. But we have seen other people take the basis and the framework of D&D and use it to create things that are like Pathfinder is a similar game, or third-party content which augments D&D. So if if D&D did they have a whole bunch of monsters and shit that you like, but you don't like any of their campaigns, well, Cobalt Press, they wrote campaigns. So you can go to them, see, oh shit, I like this campaign, and it fits within the rule set of D&D E5, version 5, or 5th edition as they call it. And then you could just use that book and play the same game without missing a beat, without a learning curve, or without relearning everything. It's been recently leaked that Wizard of the Coast and Hasbro are making changes to that, to where it seems like they're going to revoke the one thing they said they wouldn't revoke, and then replace it with something where now, in reality, they have the ability to now, if you're a big creator and you make over $750,000, you have to pay a 25% royalty on anything after that to Wizards of the Coast. If you're gonna print something, you have to report your earnings. You have to report what you made. You have to report how much of it you made. Everything about it, you got to report to them. You can't do anything digitally because they're trying to do a virtual tabletop shit. And I believe it's very restrictive on trying to get into that space yourself. And mainly just physical books and shit that they're now taxing, where you got to pay royalties on. One of the things is they can change it at any given moment and only give you 1 month's notice. So if you just came out with a whole bunch of books and they're like, well, all this shit now has to be changed, we're giving you 1 month to redo some shit that took you 2 years to do, which people are going crazy over. This is pretty much, if this is 100% true, because Wizard of the Coast has not said anything yet about it, and everything we're going off of is leaks, but it's leaks from people who are pretty much telling the truth. Because like even Kickstarter had confirmed it, because if you do a Kickstarter, they take 20% of that, and after a certain point, and Kickstarter had to come out and be like, yo, this is what the fuck the thing is now. So it is pretty much true here, where third-party content is now, everybody in this space is looking for other shit to do. Cobalt Press just turned around and was like, hey, we have Project Black Flag. They're trying to come up with their own game system. And when they do, if it's successful and people like it and they do their playtesting phase, they're going to have their own open license where they're like, yo, what Wizard of the Coast did 20 years ago, we're doing now, where you can use our system to play. It affects other YouTubers and content creators and people who make a living off of making things that supplement playing D&D E5, but are not the big guys. So this pretty much took everything that you loved about D&D and went, hey, fuck it. Throw it out. Here's some shit that only benefits them, doesn't benefit anybody else. And everything is, as of right now, everybody's making it out that the sky is falling. And the one thing that makes it 100% worse is that Wizards of the Coast has not said anything yet. They literally put out a tweet. I think it was a tweet or a post or something where it just said, hey, thanks for your patience. We'll say something soon. That was it. And everybody on this side is panicking because one of the things is this is one of the dumbest things that they're trying to get people on board with. If you make something and Wizards of the Coast likes it, they can just take it, put their name on it, not give you any credit, and now it's theirs, and they get to go on and sell it, and you can't say shit about it. So on the macro scale, that really would only affect the big 20 people, 20 companies that they said. So like I mentioned Critical Role, a Dimension 20, a Cobalt Press. Theoretically, if they put something out, Wizards of the Coast can just turn around and go, oh, this is ours now. But that's on the macro. That's on the big scale. On the micro scale, I have this. D&D Beyond, which is now owned by Wizards of the Coast. I know it's hard to see here, but these are characters. All right, this is my character sheet for my character, which only because I have it here. That's my mini. That's my character, right? I have his sheet. I have all of the information. There is nothing to stop Wizards of the Coast from going on D&D Beyond, looking up characters and going, oh, this character has a stat block. This character has a background written. This character has a cool look and a name and a class. And all of a sudden, the character I've been playing that I built that means nothing to that means nothing to them. I'm not making any money off of it. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just playing a home game. Well, now it's theirs, and I can't say shit about it. And that's the scary part, because that's the reach that this new gaming license gives them, which we now have to hope they won't fucking take. So it's a situation of which we were at a party. It used to be they came in and went, hey, all these chips are yours. I bought them for the party. Eat up. And now they're turning around in the same party and going, I brought these chips. You can have some. I'm not going to close the bag right now, but you can have some. But at some point, we're all like, nah, they're going to take this fucking bag and go.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing right now. And this is going to fuck up. This is already fucking up relationships between different creators and Wizards of the Coast. This is definitely going to fuck up the movie. When this movie comes out, I will be shocked. Well, again, it all depends on what the official open game license is, what their official word is, and how the people who sign it, don't sign it, wherever the camp falls at the end where the dust settles. It all depends on when the dust settles and what happens. But the potential is the movie that's coming out, the movie I've been hyped for, the movie I've been fucking waiting for, that's gonna fucking bomb now because this is such a sour taste that this movie could be the greatest movie ever made. Nobody's gonna go see it. It's gonna get review bomb. It's gonna lose a lot of money because the fans, for especially in this realm, the fans vote with their dollars, and they will not support no matter what. So they fucked themselves on that. They made an announcement in the midst of all this without saying nothing about the open game license. They made an announcement that they are fucking doing a live action TV show on Paramount Plus. That show's gonna be fucking trash now, no matter what the fuck happens. Who's gonna buy Paramount Plus now to get it? I don't even have Paramount Plus, and if that show would have came out and been good, I might have fucking gotten it for a little bit to see it. But now, is me spending money on Paramount Plus worth it for a D&D show that even if I like it, every single person on the planet is gonna be like, this shit is fucking trash.
Yeah.
Or every fan. Like it'll suck the enjoyment out of anything. And these guys are already killing so they also have a game called Magic the Gathering, which is a card-based game. They're on the verge of killing that shit too. They did a 30th anniversary pack where they re-released very rare, very expensive fucking cards that are staples for like old school collectors, people who play the historic level of the historic version of the game, and they put it out for $1,000, and they were all proxies, which meaning that the card you got is nothing but cardboard because you can't play it in a tournament. You technically can't even play it in a game with your friend. You have to ask if it's okay to use proxies, period. Now, your friend might be cool with it, but if your friend's not cool with it, you spend $1,000 on a piece of cardboard to look pretty that you can't resell because it's not real. You can't use it anywhere because it's not real. And it's meaningless.
So what's the point of getting it?
Exactly. They made a product with no point to get it. They basically killed the fucking Friday night game session where you go to the game store and play it with actual people in a fucking game shop, in a card shop. They killed that off. I mean, I have the MTG Arena app, the virtual game that I play from time to time, but I'm not on it like I used to be because a set will come out. It's good for a while, and then the game does what it does, and everybody plays the same 2 or 3 fucking decks.
Yeah.
And that's not fun, and you move on and you wait for another deck, another pack to come out. So Hasbro is slowly choking the life out of something that people used to enjoy for fucking decades. Since the 1980s, Dungeons and Dragons has been playing. And I've literally been watching for the last 4 or 5 days, channel after channel after channel after channel, talk about how disappointed they are, how worried they are, how mad they are, how they're looking for other fucking game systems to play. Like it's a weird fucking thing for them to have done. And again, it can all be mitigated if they would just fucking say something. They haven't said anything, and the only thing I could think of is they are scrambling to put in place the exact wording that they want to use instead of just saying something random.
Bend over.
Yeah, they're trying to get I would hope they're trying to get their lawyers, their PR firm, whoever, to get the exact wording down so nothing gets misconstrued. But on the same token, big time, the big 20 that they initially said that this is only going to affect, they can't really say anything because it's believed that they either have already signed NDAs or that they're trying to make deals for certain things, backdoor deals that, don't really affect them too much. So they can't really say anything yet. So this is all it's all left to speculation on something that, I mean, the document's out. They did a report on it.
Yeah.
We can read every single thing about it. I think it's like 9,000 words or something like that. And they called it a draft, but that's a fucking pretty, like,
That's an extensive draft.
yeah. And the more you don't say anything, the more we're just going to assume, well, this is it. And when it reads this way, that's what the fuck it means. Because there's a saying in D&D, rules as intended or rules as written. And right now, we're not doing rules as intended. We're reading rules as written. You said this is it, so this is what the fuck we're gonna go off of.
What's going on, Leon?
What's up, man? And as a player, the only reason I'm really worried is because playing with my friends in my boy's house, not really going to affect us. To be completely honest, not going to affect us at all. But all the ancillary things, all the fucking shows we watch, all the content that we buy or that we consume via Twitch or YouTube, any website we go to get ancillary accessories and things, that third-party things that come in and augment our game, all that shit now has the potential to go away, and we're just stuck with whatever the fuck they have. There's also talk that they're gonna do a video service, virtual tabletop, in which we played virtually now, like a video game, digital mini, roll around digital map, move them, play them, almost kind of like a video game. But there's a fucking battle pass. Now I have to buy a skin for it. I have to do other shit where I just showed you a mini. Like I can go fucking get it. The actual physical things that I use to play the game with. That I go. There's one of them right there that I made for a toe. Like that's a physical thing that I was able to design and have a company, Hero Forge, print out and give to me. That's the way I prefer to play the game. But now if we do the tabletop, the virtual tabletop, if I want a cool skin, I now got to pay for it. If I want to change the look of my character, I got to pay for it. I got to get a battle pass and I got to do some other shit. Where this game is literally, yo, do you have dice in front of you or anywhere around you?
Yeah. I think that's pretty
I
dope.
put his name on the. Warhammer I think is fine. Warhammer is a completely different game system, so they don't have to worry about that. So right now, the way D&D is played at its purest, me and Toe could play right now. He doesn't need his mini. All he needs is that dice and just a sheet of paper to tell him what the dice roll means. And right now I can put him in a scenario and he can do whatever he needs to do. And that's the beauty of the game. So to have it which my imagination is now locked behind your fucking paywall, locked behind the skin that I have to buy or the fucking battle pass that I have to buy as a player, is kind of fucking bullshit. It's like playing Fortnite where if you want cool shit, you got to spend a little bit of money. And after, you can just run around as the jungle guy, but after a while, I don't know if that gets boring to everybody else.
So you wouldn't be able to buy minis and do the
So,
shit on.
yes, you can, but they're gonna try to push. So the thing is, we can do that, right? I'll get to that question in a second. We can still get together in live action and live action. We can still get together in real life, me and my friends, sit around the table and play. Right? Matter of fact, last Friday we did a fucking game session where I just had that mini I showed you. I just had my mini sitting at my table. We had a full fucking fight scene. We did a whole bunch of things in the town. We had a good ass time. Right? Without the use of a map or without the use of anything. Just all theater of the mind. But let's say I want to do another one shot with you and Show. And maybe Lay and Cabs and Krills and Kenny. What's gonna be better for us? Is it gonna be to try to get everybody in one place at one time and sit down and go through everything? Or is it gonna be, well, if this is like a video game, log on to this thing, here's your character. Hey, it's your turn in combat. Where on the board do you want to move them? Move them. You turn around like, I want to use this attack. It might even turn around where it does an animation.
Yeah.
So for you guys, that might be a better alternative. But then you're like, oh, dude, I need to go to a shop and get a different sword. I don't like this sword. Okay. In the game, I could just tell you, you have a new sword. Here's the stats for it. But for this, it very well is gonna be, well, fuck it. Give me $10. You get this sword now.
Yeah, that don't make it.
So to get to that question, my expectations for that live action movie are high because of the people involved, not only acting in it, but the people writing it and the people directing it. The majority of the cast either plays Dungeons and Dragons or has played Dungeons and Dragons. The writer, director, and some of the producers are heavily into Dungeons and Dragons, playing themselves. They know the lore. So I have high expectations for the movie to be not only a faithful adaptation, but in order for the movie to be good, two things have to be true. One, Toe needs to go into the movie and come out of it going, damn, that was fucking good. It was funny, the action was good, the story was good, I like the characters. The second thing that needs to happen is I need to come out of that movie going, dude, that was like fucking playing D&D. That was like sitting at the table and playing with my friends. If they can hit both of those things, that movie is gonna fucking be great. But again, I alluded to before, the problem with that is with the sour taste in everybody's mouth from the open game license, the likelihood of people even giving this movie a chance has now drastically diminished. Because we've seen other fandoms, they don't give anything a fucking chance now.
Yeah.
Now you put one thing that they don't like, get too many women, and now the fucking movie gets review bombed. Nobody goes to see it. All that bullshit.
Yeah.
So that's a good question.
Would you prefer being a pure action movie or an action comedy talking about the D&D movie?
That's a good question. A good D&D movie is going to be a mix of both. And I'll tell you why. One of our best game sessions that we've had in the last few months, and it might have even been, within the last 3 months. So my character that I just showed you is a bard. What a bard does is, I'm a little bit of magic, I'm a little bit of fighting, but if you ever watch The Witcher or something, the guy who sings, that's the bard. I sing, I tell stories, I entertain, I use my charisma, my charm to get advantage, either for myself or give my friends advantage to fight or to do whatever in a situation. And one of the best sessions we had, we went into a bar and they had a battle of the bands, kind of like Pitch Perfect. And me and my friend went up on stage and we literally spent 4 hours going back and forth. Just, I'm playing this song right now, singing the song. Our other rivals, they sang another song. Fuck it. I sang a different song. And we went back and forth for 4 hours, just picking different songs, rolling dice to see who did better. And that was one of the best sessions we've ever had. So D&D lends itself to heavy on action, heavy on comedy, heavy on drama. It all depends on how much you're willing to role play, how much story you're into, what type of gameplay you're into, what kind of campaign you're running. So it lends to everything. So if the movie has a good mix of action, comedy, like hitting all four pillars, action, comedy, drama, suspense, a good mix of it, that should be fucking great.
I understand they announced it to be a live action TV series for Amazon, but would you have preferred Carnivore to be a movie, or do you like it going to be a TV series?
So the TV series I believe for Paramount Plus. I mean, shit, if it was Amazon, I would have loved that, but
Yeah. I mean, to have a D&D show as a TV show would be dope because you can do these campaigns forever. In a movie, you would have to skip over stuff and just get the gist of it.
Yes. So now here's one of the things, and I don't know if that last question was about the God of War thing, but we'll get to that. So here's the great thing about D&D, right? I mentioned it before, where you can have campaigns that go on forever, or you could do a one shot. Where if you look at on this channel, I did a one shot with Toe and Show. It's a self-contained 4-hour block, the story from beginning, middle, and end, and that's it. The movie can be that. The movie could just be a one shot. The series could be your campaign, but the movie's just a one shot. The movie's only about what happens from the start of the movie to the end of the movie, and that's it.
Yeah.
So they're not skipping over anything. They're just, here's the movie. This the story we're telling, and that's it. Which is fucking, again, should be good. But let's see what the fuck let's see what happens when all the dust clears, because I know everybody's about, don't fucking put your money towards the evil corporation and shit like that. But I'm gonna be honest. The fucking 2000 movie with Marlon Wayans and that other fucking dude, that was a shitty D&D movie, and I wasn't even playing D&D back then. And I still was like, this is a shitty ass movie. Now that I'm in it, I want this movie to be good. I want to go see this movie. And yeah, if I give $20 to the fucking evil corporation who winds up screwing everybody.
Yeah, we give money to all these evil corporations.
Yeah, I mean, shit. When's the last time you bought something from Amazon? Like you can't avoid it at certain spots. So why
And
be that?
besides, you've been waiting for a movie like this for years, and with the TV show Legends of
Legends of Vox Machina.
Vox Machina, that was a good TV show that did D&D right. And you were sitting there going, "Oh, they did this and they did that," and you could tell when he rolled a 20 or when he rolled a 1. You know what I'm saying? Like you're finally getting to see a TV show that had a budget and was taken seriously. A movie that's been taken seriously, and now it's like, oh well, they want to charge people to do shit. Well, so does everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is a shitty situation. And the reason it's a shitty situation is it's not affecting me so much. It's affecting everything else around it,
Yeah,
around me.
So the big thing is it's more affecting like the creators that you guys are like supporting, and then being able to just do something simple.
Yes. So point blank, put it this way, right? We play D&D because that's the game system that we choose. If we play Pathfinder, that's a separate game system, but it's still based on D&D. So right now, the majority of the big tabletop games have some sort of system that's based on D&D, the most successful ones.
Yeah.
If Cobalt Press comes up with their own game system and that becomes good enough that it's an alternative, or Critical Role, the people that do Legends of Vox Machina or the other show that I watch, the live play show, if they come up with their own system, and again, that's something that's good enough to be a competitor, then once we switch, or like if I play Warhammer, once we switch, we're no longer playing D&D. I can no longer turn around and be like, oh, I'm gonna go play D&D tonight. I'm playing whatever system, whatever new system that is.
Yeah.
Which means you walk away from D&D and you play something else. It's not like wrestling because
It don't
well,
matter the company, wrestling's wrestling.
yeah, it don't matter the company, wrestling. It's more akin to, you know what? I don't watch the NFL. I watch basketball.
Yeah.
Where they're both sports, but they're completely fucking different sports.
Yeah.
And they don't correlate to each other. Where D&D used to be, I like football. I like watching college football. Well, college football lends directly into the big guy. But you don't even have to worry about the big guy. You can just watch college football and be good.
Yeah.
So, Warhammer is a fucking trip. That shit, you need fucking armies, you need actual measuring tape. There's a whole lot of shit that goes into Warhammer, and I'm more into the storytelling aspect
And
versus
then the technicality.
yeah, I'm not a technical. Like I brought it up before with the saying rule is written or rule is intended. There's another saying, rule of cool, where basically they're like, oh, you can only jump 10 feet, right? In the game. That's what the rules say. But if there's a 15-foot jump and you're like, dude, I'm going to take a running leap, jump here, kick off the wall, and try to make it. Well, in actual rule is written, you can't do it. But rule of cool, make the dice roll. Let's see what the fuck happens.
Yeah, right?
I'm more that guy. I'm more of let's see where the story goes. Let's have fun telling the story together type guy. So if this all goes away, I will not be joining Warhammer because not to mention, like I said, you literally need nothing but paper, pen, and dice to play D&D. Warhammer, you need thousands of dollars to buy the fucking minis to buy your army.
Shit.
And there was mention of God of War. I don't know if that was if that coincides with the other question about
The
the
TV
announcement
show?
of a live action TV show. You know, for God of War, I think a movie. No, I'd say do a TV show. If you're gonna do a God of War thing, because the long form storytelling always lends itself better to ingratiating yourself to who these characters are, what their motivations are. You know,
Yeah.
you can bond more easily because you spend more time with these characters. And anytime something happens to them, it's more impactful than we spent, we're sitting in the chair for 3 hours. Up, we fucked off the first half. Now we got to rush to the end.
No, yeah. Because some things need time to stew and to tell the story and all that. And then there's some TV shows that it's like you could have got this done in 3 fucking episodes.
Yeah.
You know, like you fucking straight up
'Cause
fucking
yo,
filler.
you know what it is? It's the difference between, and to bring it back to nerd shit, the Lord of the Rings are fucking three or four distinct books. So you need 3 or 4 fucking movies to tell that whole story.
Yeah.
The Hobbit is 1 book. I don't know how the fuck they stretch 1 book into 3 fucking movies. You didn't need 3 movies to tell the 1 fucking book.
Yeah. With Marvel debuting Kang and Ant-Man 3, do you think there's a possibility of them debuting Squadron Supreme as his bodyguard?
Ooh.
All right, so explain Squadron Supreme.
So the Squadron Supreme is kind of like the you know how DC has the fucking evil Justice League from that other Earth where there's Owlman and the fucking Ultraman and Wonder Woman, their
Yeah.
version of Wonder Woman, shit like that.
Yeah.
Squadron Supreme is kind of like that for Marvel, where it's Speedball. I believe it's Speedball who's their Flash, Hyperion, which is their Superman. They also got a Wonder Woman equivalent and other fucking characters that basically essentially are either Justice League adjacent or Avengers equivalent, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna introduce them for this movie. And if they do, I don't think it's gonna be the version that we know. Like, I don't think we're gonna see Hyperion and Speedball and other characters because I think they're too big. Like, if you do a Squadron Supreme movie, that's gonna be in and of itself something, because Hyperion alone is and has been said to be one of, if not the definitive Marvel Superman. And that seems like
Yeah.
a waste. Like, they're already putting Adam Warlock as a supplementary character in Guardians 3. It just seems like a waste to put another fucking Superman-esque character as another henchman in another fucking movie. But I wouldn't put it past them for Kang to have a group of characters that he either calls the Squadron Supreme or people extrapolate is the Squadron Supreme. I mean, that's a possibility at this point.
How would he get him?
I mean, they're just already fucking there. It's a whole city of people that's populated by. I mean, we already know there's other people there, so.
Oh, so that's where the mutants are hiding?
I hope not, because that'd be dumb.
Yeah, right. Anthony was saying that he would like to see some of the games turn into TV shows or movies, would be Splinter Cell or Call of Duty.
Splinter Cell would be good. I also
Oh.
think
Call of Duty has been made. It's just they never called it Call of Duty. It's just all those war movies. You know, like Zero Dark 30's Call of Duty.
yeah.
You know, anytime we go into the sand and kill motherfuckers, Call of Duty.
What the fuck is that game with
With the Tomorrow War, Call of Duty.
what's the game with Solid Snake?
Oh, fuck. I had on the Splinter Cell's only thing. I know what you're talking about. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Fucking Metal Gear.
Gear Solid. Yeah,
There
Metal
you
Gear.
go. Like, yo, Splinter Cell or Metal Gear, I think would make a good fucking show.
Speaking of shows, what is it, The Last of Us?
Dude, that's coming out this Sunday.
All right. I never played the game, so what's the premise of it?
I've never played the game either, but the premise I believe is that there's some world apocalypse ending fucking event that is akin to like a zombie outbreak, but they're not really zombies. They're called clickers. It's like something happens to the human race that infects them and they turn into weird fucking monsters. And the premise of the game is there's one girl who got bit but didn't turn. So something within her blood might be the cure for humanity. And they task this one man to take this one girl and go all the way across country to the place where they can, you know, take her blood and find a fucking cure. That is what I believe at least the first game is.
Okay, and how many games did they make?
2 so far.
Is
And-
that a PlayStation exclusive or no?
Yes.
Shit.
PlayStation exclusive. And the second game, I felt so bad for the people involved with the second game because this is why I'm not a part of fandom. Something happened. I'm not going to spoil. I know what happens. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who is looking to play it or hasn't played it. But something happens in that game that makes 100% sense for the fucking story they were telling. But the fans are a bunch of fucking bitches. Not all of them, but you kind of know who I'm talking about. They're fucking bitches. They bitched and complained, and then fucking started making death threats to the voice actors and fucking harassing and shit like that. All because they didn't like the fucking turn that the story took. And it's like, yo, I can't be part of fandom because fandoms think that they own shit. Like you don't own the thing you're fucking
Yeah.
like you can get invested, but you don't own it. Just sit back and you don't. That's the good thing about being a fan. You don't have to like everything they do. You just have to like the majority of what the fuck they do to call yourself a fan. I listen to Coheed and Cambria. It's probably my favorite rock group right now. I have almost every album they have except for 3 because I don't like those 3. But that doesn't stop me from listening to all the other fucking songs they make and getting hyped for the new shit they make.
No, yeah. Just like the wrestling. You know? I don't like all the shit they do, but I still watch it. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and fucking give death threats to the fucking wrestlers and shit. Even though some of them. But
Yeah, I agree with you. The whole gatekeeper bullshit. It's like how do you keep a gate to how are you a gatekeeper to something you don't own?
to somebody
And
else's house.
everybody else can fucking enjoy this. Cause like we just said, Legends of Vox Machina. I know what that is. I watched it. I know the characters. Toe had no clue what it was. Enjoyed it just as much as I did.
And season 2's coming out soon.
Yeah, made me fucking wait for him to watch episodes on
Yeah.
some shit he don't know about.
No,
Like,
but
why gatekeep? Why not let people see how awesome the shit you're into is? Because one or two things will happen. One, they either get in it with you, and now you have another person to talk about it, or 2, they're gonna see that, oh, all right, this isn't that bad. This is all right, and they won't fucking call you a fucking weirdo or a loser or a fucking, grow up. You're not playing. Why are you playing those fucking child games or some shit? Like, once people understand, you get to do whatever you want unfucking impeded.
yeah. I'm gonna use a perfect example. I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter books. When the movies came out, there were certain movies in the. All right, I think there's extra. Oh, you go.
There you go.
There's certain movies in the Harry Potter. Oh wait, Harry Potter is a perfect example of that fans were pissed off that they didn't put certain parts of the Order of the Phoenix and Half Blood Prince book in the movies. Yeah, and it's like, but people love the movies, and yo, not for nothing. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, they were a little bit too long. To put more shit in it, it's like, damn, son, like The Godfather. I remember the first time we watched Lord of the Rings, that shit turned black on us 6 times. And was like, all right, it's over. Wait, more? All right, it's over. Wait, the fuck? They doing it? We had to check. Did this go into part 2? Like, did we go into part 2 seamlessly?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I've said it before, so it's not a secret. But I'm gonna say it again. I just sat here and gave a whole diatribe on D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, a game that I play, that I love. I've never watched any of the fucking Lord of the Rings. I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of the Lord of the Rings movies, even though they're the same fucking thing. And D&D was actually made because of the fucking Lord of the Rings books. But that doesn't, what do you call it? That doesn't not being a fan of the Lord of the Rings doesn't stop me from being a fan of D&D. And me being a fan of D&D doesn't, or me not being a fan of Lord of the Rings doesn't hinder me,
Yeah.
or doesn't make me want to stop anybody else from enjoying the film. I got a friend who doesn't play D&D, loves the fucking Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah. Dude, I watched Fellowship of the Ring in the theaters in Ireland when I visit family there. The movie was 4.5 hours long. Jesus Christ. No, but some movies deserve that. Other movies is like, all right, hold on, wait a minute. There's at least 2 hours of this shit that you could have cut out. Like, we didn't need to see 45 minutes of him walking, whistling. We'll get the gist of it. 30 seconds. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's also like with the wrestling shit. Like, you know, you can have your own opinions, but they're not facts. You know, like you could like certain people, not like certain people. You know, you get those people like, well, if you don't like this guy, you're not a real wrestling fan, or you know,
Yeah,
you know,
if you don't like Eddie Kingston, it's like,
yeah, or if you don't like deathmatch wrestling and you're not a hardcore wrestling fan, or you know, if you don't do this, then you don't, you know, that's like no one from New York goes to watch the ball drop. It's
see,
here, but no one goes to watch it.
see, this is the way I view or how I view fandom and shit should work. Because you brought up deathmatch wrestling. It should work like this. If you like deathmatch wrestling more than regular wrestling, cool. If I don't like fucking deathmatch wrestling at all, cool. When we sit there, we could talk about wrestling. I'm not into deathmatch wrestling, but who the fuck is that guy? That's cool. This is what happening on this side of the fucking aisle. That's cool, and we have mutual ground
Yeah.
because your wrestler is doing the same shit my wrestler is. There's just a lot more blood in your fucking version.
Yeah. See, now here's the thing though with the wrestling stuff, where everybody loves certain things, and then you don't like certain things. Me, I don't like the way that Moxie or Danielson sell shit, and when it came to that death match between Omega and Moxie, that they were trying to do something that was already done with the death matches in Japan. Like if you watch that XPS or whatever the original ECW in Japan when they did the death matches, they had one that was like epic, and the dude saved the other dude's life because the ring exploded or something. And they tried to do it here, and my thing is like, I don't like I didn't know this until I saw that documentary Beyond the Mat or whatever it was for that organization, where I found out Hayabusa, you know, necked himself with that moonsault. But it's like, yo, you just copied what he did. To me, wrestling has always been innovative. So when you sit there and go, yo, let's have a Hell in a Cell match. All right, cool. Let's do what Shawn Michaels and Undertaker did in the first Hell in a Cell match. Knock me off the cage. I'm gonna hang out. It's like, whose fantasy you living? Are you living out your fantasy, or are you trying to put on a show for us? Because at this point, it's like, yo, I get it. There's certain things that you want to do as a wrestler and as a fan, and the mix of the two, I get it. But there's also like, do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen that already. You could do that on your own time. That's like, let's make Fast and the Furious 12 and do the same exact scene they did in Fast and the Furious 1, but it's not going to pay homage to Fast. It's just going to be that scene again. Like two random dudes are just going to do it in the middle of the scene. Like, what?
Yo, that's the problem with modern day shit. Is you got people that are my age who grew up going, yo,
Yes.
wouldn't it be cool if this movie was done this way? And now they're in a position and they're just taking the movies they love and redoing them worse in some cases in their way, when they should have just been like, let's do a new fucking movie.
Yeah. Because taking the premise of a movie is not a bad idea. Taking the movie and making a movie out of it is a bad idea. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? There was a saying, or I was reading somewhere where people were like, yo, original movies don't make money. It's only sequels, reboots, prequels, and IP that people already know. Like Marvel, DC, different folks, all that shit. And I always find it funny because before Marvel came out, movies were fucking making money.
Yeah, original movies don't make
movies. None of those movies were based on other shit. They just fucking made movies, bro.
Original movies don't make money because there are no original movies. Like, my man took 20 years to make Avatar 2. And people are saying that movie's good. But in my head, I was like,
it's
20 years.
It's already made more movie than Top Gun.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know what. This ain't for me. Like, watching the fucking Buzz Lightyear movie. It's like, this wasn't made for me. This wasn't made for the kid that watched Toy Story when it first came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all these remakes of this shit is not for us. Incredibles 2 was for us. Because I sat there and was like, yo, bro, I've been waiting 10 years for this. You were not even 5 years old. Fuck you doing here watching this? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was for us. But yo, real quick though, Anthony goes, that happens with baseball and boxing. The old school sports fans can't stand that it's changing. The only thing I don't like about the change in most of these sports is it's not about the sport anymore. It's about money. You know what I'm saying? Like baseball, Judge, he's going to get $400 million every at bat at Texas. And if Yankees don't give him $401 million every at bat to play DH, he's not going to come here. And it's like, growing up, you see people kill them. Like, I'm not saying they don't deserve their money, but you see people kill themselves just for the pride to say, I took the Yankees to the World Series.
Cal Ripken played in like over 2,000 straight games. Aaron Judge can barely play consecutive seasons.
Yeah. No, yeah. And then, like, with boxing, and there's fundamentals in these games. Like, there's a science to baseball and to boxing. And you see people like, what's his name? Antonio Tarver. To this day, let's just fucking call him. My man can't box. He's just a right hand. He's a heavy puncher. And if he hits you, you're out. Tyson was a heavy puncher that can box. Like, my man knew boxing. That's the difference. Now that you can get away with having a good punch, like Jake Paul. You can get away with that. Unless you're fighting someone like Canelo Alvarez or fucking Mayweather. Like real champions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Nowadays, you could just fucking have one weapon and be a top star because no one knows the basics. No one knows the fundamentals of it. And it's all about money. Like, this dude has earned a shot for the number one contendership of the WBC championship. And they go, okay, strip me of the title. I want to fight this guy because there's more money in that fight. No, motherfucker, there's rankings. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, if you would have did, there's more money in that fight than this one, people would have said, no, you're just a pussy. You don't want to fight the top ranked fighter. Now it's like, well, make your money, honey. Everybody's behind. Make your money, honey. We ain't earn shit. You ain't earning shit. Judge just got a payday for not making it to the playoffs.
No, he was in the playoffs. He didn't make it to the World Series.
What round was he kicked out of the playoffs?
The championship round.
He didn't make it to the World Series, but he wasn't in the playoffs. He
got swept 4 games before trying to get to the World Series.
Yeah, but he ain't do nothing. But he got the American League home run chip. Beautiful. We didn't win the series. Don't matter. Don't matter. $300 million. Get your money, but do something. Do something. Everybody want to be A-Rod. Nobody want to be Derek Jeter. And Derek Jeter made more money than A-Rod. That's the problem. I'm not gatekeeping. You do what you need to do, but I'm also the type of guy that's like, yeah, people are, oh, they're talented in the world and all that other shit. Yeah, but I do 365 days of work for a fraction of what you make. You play 181 games. Fucking get us to the championship. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Davis is hurt. He can't play 82 games. We used to play 10 games in a row in the park with Tim's on.
Every day.
Every day in the summertime. For free. And you can't even win a fucking game making hundreds of millions of dollars without getting hurt? Football, I'm not going to say nothing because football, every hit is a fucking, your life is on the line. You know what I'm saying? This went from being a child's game to having fun to let me make millions of dollars just because I can hit the ball. And he's not even hitting the ball. Like, he's hitting home runs. Okay. Where are the guys that are putting the ball in the open field and advancing the runner? You know how many times we would have won games if my man would have just fucking hit the ball in between center and right field?
Yo, dude, don't get me started on the fucking switch. You mean to tell me everybody fucking moves over to one side of the field? You're incapable of hitting it to the side of the field with nobody standing?
Yeah.
How are you a baseball player? You can't hit the ball to the open side of the field.
That's what I don't.
Simmons. How are you playing basketball? You can't shoot.
Yeah. Or layup. You can't do shit. And the thing, the crazy shit was, here's the crazy shit that y'all people don't wanna appreciate. Jason Kidd was similar to this dude. He wanted to be the first ever person to have a triple-double with no points. And what happened? He figured out you can't play in the NBA like that. And became one of the best three-point shooters of his time and a scorer. Jason Kidd. Vince Carter was a dunker. And he got too old to be doing all this athletic dunking shit. He developed an outside game and became a 6-man and a shooter. Because he wanted to play the fucking game. My man can't even play a period, a fucking quarter, without hurting himself. We got somebody that's been triple-double 2 times in a row and y'all disrespect him. But then you want to talk about Curry hitting threes. No one's covering this man at half court. Of course he can hit a wide open half court 3. You take enough of them shits, you can hit it. Pete Maravich would have hit a full court fucking 3 if they would have let him shoot that shit wide open. Y'all never seen the Harlem Globetrotters?
Yo, Larry Bird, in today's era, if Larry Bird was playing, or Reggie Miller, do you think we'd be hearing about Steph Curry?
Yeah.
Larry Bird would be like, yo, fuck it, I'm going to go sit on the bench, and on his way off the court, we'll drain a fucking shot.
Shit, I'm playing a video game, losing by like 20, 30 points, 3 minutes left, and you see Cap looking at me like, fuck this. No one touches the ball. I'm getting it. And I'm trying to win the game, 30 seconds left by 20. Motherfuckers is off the court with 5 minutes left, losing by 15. Come on. That's the problem. Ain't no gatekeeping there. It's just, it's the expectation. It's like, come on, man. This how many people would kill for your position, and you making mad money, and you worried about being a businessman and all the other shit, and I say, yo, if you want to play this game and you want me to be invested in you the same way I was invested in all those people that were willing to die for me, well, then you gonna have to do something. You gonna have to do something. It's not impressed. I'm not impressed. You made a superstar fucking team, the only superstar team in the league, and they won back-to-back championships. Yeah, Jordan was on a super team, but he faced super teams. He was in a league full of super teams. And he only assembled Voltron because he couldn't get past the fucking Pistons, who was a fucking super team.
But he drafted Scottie Pippen. They made the trade to get him in the draft. It's not like Scottie went out and became a superstar and then they brought him in.
That's another thing. They got him pieces. He didn't go out and get. He didn't go leave and get pieces somewhere else. Yo, Anthony, Thursday, that's pretty much the whole show. We're gonna talk about Vince McMahon the whole show on Thursday. So keep that one in your pocket for Thursday. But yo,
on that note,
yeah, it's 12:06. We've been doing this. Cat's been killing it this whole show. We're gonna call it a night. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's your friendly neighborhood knucklehead signing out.